Fairy tales of blood and wine. Turtles on the way down the line. So to each their own, we go home. Further realms our souls must roam. To and through.
Turtles All the Way Down podcast on Southtown Media.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We are back once again. Turtles All the Way Down on the IG Bastards YouTube channel. We also have TikTok. I don't know how to work that shit. I am trying to figure it out. We posted one video.
You're so
and I can't figure out how to
fucking white, man.
Bitch, you white. We brothers.
Why don't you show them your real background? Why don't you show them your real background, bruh?
Yeah, you ain't got no motherfucking piano and
I ain't got no
porn
piano,
couch.
man.
Whose house is that, man?
This is my bro house. You see my piano in the back?
Yeah.
I play with my no hands.
Isn't that one of Epstein's townhomes? I guess one of Epstein's townhomes.
Hey, I have an open house later. Shut up.
Because that's what I know about when we were growing up. 6 kids, poor, and halftime living in a trailer was the Shelby like pull out the old piano and play a song.
Come on, play us Rocket Man, boy. Play us Rocket Man.
Yeah, man, piano man.
I'm just like, where's Shelby at? And he's like, oh, Shelby's sad. He's in the dining room playing on the piano again.
He's in the den.
He's in there playing Beethoven.
Yeah, he's doing his Beethoven routine with a glass in his ear to the floor so he can actually hear it.
Oh, where's Shelby at? He's in the East Wing.
He's in the third study.
Motherfucker's wearing a cape.
I was
Phantom of the Opera.
I was wearing a trench coat, man. Shut up.
Ring a bell when you're thirsty.
Yeah.
Hey, but
naked with a cape on.
I almost had a YouTube worthy official fucking intro until I got reminded of my whiteness, even though I'm not, because I'm a redhead, so I'm black now.
Yeah.
Don't worry about all that.
He told you you're so fucking white, man.
All right, Limp Biscuit with your hat turned backwards. It's gonna be all right.
Hey,
Keep rolling,
I'm dying
bro.
of cancer. Shut up.
What?
Why do you joke about that?
You don't even have an answer.
I'm dying of cancer. Don't talk about me. I'm dying.
Go ahead.
Well, I think I'm gonna create a platform for everyone that's listening. Try to set up one for Instagram. I know I need to work on that, and maybe any other platforms that might be better for us to be reached.
How many more platforms are there? It's like 4?
I can look at it and read the little thing. There's like 20 of them, man. Like
Reddit, 4chan, fucking.
We could go Facebook Live.
What's the most obscure platform on there? What's the lowest?
Let's see.
Like RedTube.
Let's go Tinder.
Yeah, can we live stream on RedTube?
Yeah,
we could turn it into a fucking podcast. We'll take over RedTube with a podcast.
Let's get some sponsors in here. Who wants to
live
sponsor
stream on Venmo?
Apparently, we can be on Kick, Hopin,
No
Instagram,
Kick.
Yeah, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Because in case you're trying to find a job, I guess.
I'm trying to find a job.
This would help us.
Fired from every job.
I gotta pay the rent, bro.
Yeah.
And then there's just one that says other platforms, RTMP. So I'm imagining the more obscure ones if you're trying to get on that. So
you going?
We got it all.
What's your resume?
Should do
like?
Twitch.
Don't look at my podcast. Oh, you got a history in filming.
Can we live stream to the Yahoo homepage or something where there's just 4 grandmas watching?
Please, that's how you know you made it.
Let's hack into fucking CNN and just podcast this shit right now.
Say, hey, we appreciate you, Esther. We're back.
Number one fan. She's always sending us cookies.
She mainly watches because one of us reminds of her grandson, but that's okay.
Wait, who is this?
No, it's just
our number one fan.
Yeah.
Her name is Esther.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Esther.
She sends
Esther,
cookies?
Gertrude, and
I don't get cookies. I'm mad.
Ruth.
she can only she's living on Social Security. She can't be sending fucking cookies around the world. This is 2 different destinations.
That's bullshit.
Look, Tusky.
I wanted some fucking cookies, man.
Listen, there's a little bit of Colorado bias. But you're just not the one that reminds her of her grandson.
It's not
I'm sorry.
It's probably
she didn't like that whole.
Esther.
She
I'll
didn't like.
shave for you.
I was like, she didn't like that whole cancer comment. She was like,
She was like, that took that shit personally. I do have cancer, thank you.
I resemble that remark.
Well, almost 6 minutes in, guys, and the topic today is psychics, not physics.
Oh fuck! I had this whole quantum thing down.
What about quantum? What about quantum psychics?
Quantum psychics.
Oh
shit!
I mean, that's redundant much.
I mean, honestly, that sounds like the new Ant-Man movie that's going to come out eventually.
Nah, I don't want to watch that shit.
Quantum psychics.
Terrible.
No, I don't want to watch Ant-Man 4 Quantum Psychics. I'm
Doctor Strange and Ant-Man start fingering each other into a wormhole.
Whoa!
Quantum physics.
Hey, and that's when your character comes in, Kelsey, and just swoops in.
When Seymour Butt Sexman comes in,
Yeah.
I see
he's
some
in the
butts
quantum
and I
realm.
want you. Uwe.
But he's much different from his alter ego when he's an actual superhero get up. He's
So I have a question. Does he do like a Clark Kent thing where like he just puts a pair of glasses on and then nobody knows it's him?
Yeah, he mainly has. Go ahead, Tuss.
Hold on.
You go ahead.
I'll
We
be right
don't really
back.
even know what it is that he has to put on. We just know that when he's not in superhero mode, he looks like a young Billy Crystal. That's all we got so far.
Really?
So how
does he sound like Billy Crystal?
normal thing in?
No. I decided. I'm glad you asked that, Blair. Because we decided that he looks like a young Billy Crystal. However, he has the voice of a Dave Attell.
Yeah, that's right.
Really?
It's kind of grimy and dark.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go save someone's life. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it with a couple of shots of whiskey in me, though.
All right, that's fine. But the dick has to sound way different. The dick's got to talk like a Ninja Turtle, if that's gonna be.
I like that.
I think the dick should sound like Ellen DeGeneres.
Why?
What?
It seemed like a good. You wouldn't see that one coming.
You mean like Dory?
Dory? You were right about that.
Does that count as
evil? Someone as evil and
Kevin Spacey.
No, that's like the number one. Anybody ever realize that the blue and white stripes on Ellen's background on her show are identical to the Epstein temple on his island?
Yeah.
Anyone ever notice that?
Yeah.
Epstein had the temple.
It's based off the Syrian.
I was about to ask what you were talking about, and then I remember what you were talking about.
I would say Kevin Bacon.
I know that. And I need more detail, real quick, about these blue stripes, because I mean, not to be that guy, but like just because there's some random ass blue stripes on the back of her scene or set or whatever, does that mean
she like
anything?
Pizza, bro.
This is
Pizza
like
Gates.
bullshit TikTok conspiracy stuff I'm just throwing out.
Okay.
Pizza.
I got an invite I gotta send real quick, so y'all do y'all
when she had the Diddy parties too, though.
Well, that's what everybody was saying. That no, she and Diddy were apparently really close,
and so was Adam Sandler.
No, it's Mike Myers. Hey, do you guys hate Adam Sandler as much as Kelsey hates Adam Sandler?
Adam Sandler?
I love Adam Sandler. I disagree.
I was surprised by this. I found this out yesterday. Kelsey hates Adam Sandler.
Why the fuck do you love him so much? What are you, 12 and this is 1997?
No, but the thing is, why do
you love your penis so much? Why is the sky blue?
In defense of Adam Sandler, at one point I was 12, and there's memories. That's really the only.
Exactly.
That's really it. I cannot endorse anything Adam Sandler has done in the last 20 years. Though.
He is the
Yeah,
most.
that's what I was about to say. Yeah.
To me, he is the
His
most
new shit
obnoxious
is-
human being on just about on the planet, bro. He is obnoxious. I can't.
My
But I
uncle-
mean,
Why?
what about Drew Brees?
Just keep making shit.
Yeah, fuck Drew Brees. Yeah, Drew Brees is worse. Go Captain Shit Stain face.
I used to like Drew Brees
Disgusting
until fucking
birthmark on his
he
face.
retired.
I never liked
He
him.
just opened his mouth.
I hope he dies in a hotel fire.
There's a new movie coming out that's loosely based on Star Wars, but they're all drinking beet juice, and it's Adam Sandler and
Yeah, I'm
Drew
not
Brees
surprised.
playing everything.
I'm not
Hey,
surprised.
we was talking about conspiracies for a second. Someone brought up something the other day, and I thought about it and it made me laugh. And it could be overthinking it. Remember when you used to have the missing kids on the milk cartons?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something around correlation around the time that all the celebrities started doing the got milk with the crosshair, and they stopped showing
I heard
them on
about
the missing
that.
cartons.
The correlation.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
the children being lost on the milk cartons have been around forever.
No, I'm saying they stopped putting them on the milk cartons, and then all the celebrities doing the got milk with the milk stain across them.
I'm more concerned with like the shoe symbology.
Oh, the shoe symbology.
The shoe
like,
symbology?
Tom Hanks does a lot of like weird posts with shoes, and like something about like baby shoes being a part, some kind of online signaling to each other. But also, I think we talked about this at one point. There's something about red shoes. Like you see celebrities wearing red shoes, and they're supposed to represent some kind of like
He's a friend
old
of Dorothy.
ass Italian. No, they're supposed to be made out of like human skin or something.
Yeah.
Like some kind of old school Italian
I heard about
cannibal
the
cult or something.
Yeah.
The bleach
I heard
blonde
about
hair shit. When celebrities bleach their hair and shit.
That's just
Before
the
they-
Aryan Brotherhood. Next.
Problem solved. Next.
Problem solved.
Yeah,
Next.
Turkey
All right,
stirs
all right.
all the
Yeah.
all your way
That shit there, that's just the fucking Freemasons.
All right,
Next,
all right,
Yeah.
Turkey.
fucking
Next question solved. They'll just
No,
play.
the Tic Tac
He's
footage,
from
that's
the Middle
fucking
East.
ghosts. Next,
Yeah,
Next.
Tic Tac. Somebody just threw a baseball.
Sockets.
All right, Turkey. How do we solve peace in the Middle East? Go. Next one.
How do we solve it? With
How do
more
we solve
war.
More-
Government
wow.
did it.
Next question.
Next question.
oh fuck, it's our job to spread democracy at the point of a gun.
And that's apparently what America does. We
Yeah,
spread
that's what
democracy at
it's
the point
for.
of a fucking gun. God. It's like,
Listen.
look, we want to help you.
You love it.
No, we
We
don't want
will
it.
help you.
We
We're
will
helping
help you.
Stop resisting.
Now-
Stop
yeah,
resisting
stop
our help.
resisting. Let's destroy your country and build it back better.
Yeah,
You
you want to
need a
vote for that guy?
Starbucks.
No, fuck that guy. You should vote for the guy we like.
We want to put a McDonald's in every corner.
And a Dollar
In
General.
Pakistan, we want
In
to put a
Pakistan.
McDonald's on
Yeah.
every corner in Pakistan.
Hey, you see that? You see that free corner right there? That looks good for a McDonald's and a Dollar General, cuz.
They got to bring some 7-Elevens over there.
Oh,
I
come!
I
But
think
they'll
I
be
heard
ran
the
by white guys.
7-Elevens in Japan are amazing. Or is
Really?
that wrong?
I mean,
Yeah.
no. That's like every brand that we have here is better in Japan. KFC's better in
That's
Japan.
I was just like
Kit Kat's
everything
better in
is.
Japan's.
Yeah,
It's more kosher.
Yeah.
Like we get all the bullshit.
I mean,
Yeah.
they said they serve alcohol in the KFC in Japan. They serve
What?
alcohol at
We
Burger
serve-
King.
They serve alcohol at the Family Dollar, man.
Do they got chicken and
Probably.
waffles too?
The only thing that sucks about Japanese, because we're American and most of us are on the larger side of things, you'll be upset about their serving sizes because they're very small, and you'll be like, "I paid $15 for a scoop of rice. What the fuck is this?"
No, is
What
it
is this,
15?
dinner for ants?
Is it 15 American dollars or is what's
Roughly,
roughly? Okay.
yeah. They're
How many
normally
yen?
I lived there for 3.5
Yeah.
years.
How many?
Their
yen?
yen roughly will it'll come out about $14-15, and you look at your food and you're like, I paid that much for this little.
Well, you should
But
see
the
the hibachi
presentation's
grill.
phenomenal.
Hibachi grill, you fucking spend $40 and you get a big ass fucking plate. It's probably the same amount.
In Japan, it's just a grill.
It's
They
just
give
an
you a
efficient
warm
country.
towel to put on your
Yeah.
forehead
It's just
when
an,
they
it's
bring
just
your
an
food out.
efficient island.
Yeah,
Well, see, they got a lot of fucking going on too. So,
and we don't.
no,
No,
what
we
I'm saying,
don't. Have you seen the birth rates?
Yeah, they don't do it more than us. Yeah.
No. Yeah, the birth rates.
I don't know. They got those sex hotels.
Then where are all the babies?
Yeah.
Well,
It's
They have
they're
no
careful.
babies.
Man, they just jerking them off.
they're-
man.
All of the people who run Japan are screaming at their chronically depressed youth and being like, "Why aren't you guys having kids?"
Because we don't want the aftermath of Hiroshima.
It's like, man, because when I work as what?
No,
That's a
Turk's
weird baby
he's preaching
boom.
truth. No. Babies leads to nukes, right? How did we get nukes last time? It started with people having babies. Look it up.
Look it
That's
up.
technically
So-
fact.
Next.
It's an odd dot to connect, but all right.
No, I'm talking about the aftermath of goodness, Lord. Somebody, I need an anger translator.
Can we get a sticker made that says "nuke on board" instead of "baby
Nuke
on
on
board"?
board. Yeah, nuke on.
Just have a fucking nuke strapped to it. Right.
No, I'm saying just like with the Hiroshima, like with all the radiation and shit passed down the bloodlines.
No.
What the defense?
Okay.
More babies equals more nukes equals more Godzilla.
There are some defects, sure, from like the first hand from the mother and the child, but after you get past the child, it's the radiation itself that's causing the defects, it's not passed down generationally.
Look up Down syndrome Japanese.
I've never seen one. Have you?
I don't know.
I have.
Maybe they're
I
keeping
have.
them
I
hidden.
have.
Maybe
No,
they're
I
keeping
have.
them hidden.
For science.
You can I've seen so I went down this rabbit hole of like, yeah, there are people all over the world with Down syndrome, but there are a few countries that don't have any, and they all don't have any for the exact same reasons. For example, you can
They
find
have up syndrome.
No, 100 years ago, I think they just killed them all off. Like, for example, you can find pictures of Japanese people with Down syndrome. Try to find a picture of a Swedish kid with Down syndrome.
Makes sense.
Oh, Aryan Brotherhood.
Aryan Brotherhood. I'm saying next question.
That's the Aryan Brotherhood. Next question.
Norse.
I'm saying like
Japanese nukes, babies, Down syndrome. Next question.
I'm saying, look, I'm not saying Hitler was a great person, but he had an ideal.
Well, let's stop right there.
No, listen.
Oh God.
Listen. No, I'm not saying it at all. But he had an idea in mind. He had an idea in mind. He wanted to create the best race, and he was like, "Look, there's any."
He also wouldn't let gingers marry.
Yeah, exactly. Listen,
wow.
He wanted to create his perfect race, and it went down to being like, "Look, there's going to be any deformities, we kill them off before they're born." You know what I'm saying? Or if they come out, we kill them.
So is that
off.
a redeeming quality, Turk? I don't understand.
No, not a redeeming quality, but it just goes back to that statement.
What are you trying to make out?
If you let me get there. No, if you let me get there. What he's saying.
I also want to note. I want to note something real quick. We had one viewer, and then when you started talking about Hitler, 0.
They left.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Hey, all I'm saying is I was going back to the point that he made about the Swedes. They kill them off so nobody knows about them. They're trying to create a good bloodline. They're like, hey, we don't need this shit in here. Let me kick them out. That's what Hitler was doing. I'm not saying it was good.
So you want a bloodline like the Habsburgs?
No, I'm not saying I want that. I'm just saying that's what he was doing.
But if you could be a Habsburg, it would be a Habsburg, though.
Kelsey,
No,
that would be a
I
funny
wouldn't.
premise. The Habsburgs and the McCoys.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't have lasted very long.
When he said the Habsburgs, that's what I went to.
The Hatfields and the McCoys.
Yeah, I did. I went straight to there in my head.
Do you know who the Habsburgs are, Turk?
No, I guess they're Germans.
No.
Nah.
Who are they? I don't know.
They used to be every single royal lineage. They would marry their princes and princesses off to other kings and queens across Europe before the Habsburgs were in every single royal lineage in every European country. And because royals could only breed with royals, this meant that for generations in Europe, all the royals were just breeding with each other who were their cousins. And over a period of time, all of the Habsburgs' descendants came out like with Down syndrome and with defects and deformities. Like every single king and queen.
It's like what the Kardashians are trying right now.
The Kardashians.
The Kardashians
ruined the life of every man that they suck into their orbit.
Yeah. The same with the Habsburgs.
I think the British royal family comes from the House of Windsor, and they are somehow related to Vlad the Impaler.
Oh, they're vampires.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's why we declared independence from them, and that's why it's been so important for all of our presidents to be vampire hunters.
Yep. Blood sucking.
How do we always get back to Abraham Lincoln?
Because it was true. Because it was
It
true.
was true. I'm saying, look, he needed.
They wouldn't have made a movie about it.
The Emancipation Proclamation was to free the slaves so they could help fight vampires. Everybody knows that.
All right. Because what's the alternative to Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter being true? What's the only other alternative? That some guy just came up with that?
John Wilkes Booth Werewolf.
I can see that.
Maybe.
I can see that.
Who's this specky fuck in the glasses?
I don't know, but he looks like he needs his ass whipped.
Yeah, he does, man. That's the most wonderful face I've seen in a while, man.
That looks like a damn storm drain on that bitch's face. It just rolls right off. The water just rolls.
Damn.
That's a Habsburg for you, man. That's a Habsburg.
That's what happens when you
that's
only breed with cousins and siblings for generations and generations.
That's a nosy bitch.
For real, looks like someone could skateboard on that face.
Oh, that's Keith from the Try Guys. He used to be on BuzzFeed. I do want.
That almost looks like Tony Hinchcliffe.
I was about to say that looks like Tony Hinchcliffe.
Okay, so it's saying so basically what they're saying, they're making fun of him. Okay, I got it now. That he wasn't willingly putting his face with the Habsburgs. Someone did that to him. Wow. That's all I have to say. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
His ancestors did it to him.
It's all the inbreeding, man. So Turk, we're pro inbreeding. Is that what we're saying?
No, I'm not pro inbreeding. I never said that. I never said that, and that was a double negative. I did never say that, but I never said that. No, I did not say that. I never said that. I started off, and y'all just insinuated. I did never say that.
Hitler.
Yeah, and you didn't let me fucking finish, so you cut me
off.
Okay,
sorry. Go ahead.
All right. Damn, fuck it. I can recool and come back to shit. Damn.
All right, we got it. Let's just re-level the playing field, right? Turk, what is your least favorite thing about Hitler?
My least favorite thing about Hitler?
Yeah.
I'd have to say that he turned a peace sign into a sign that made things evil.
That's
a good one. That's a good one.
I'm just saying that it was a sign of peace. It's been a sign of peace over hundreds of thousands of years, and now all of a sudden.
No. I'm not disagreeing with that. That's very true. But we're ranking your least favorite. That's your least favorite.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah, you're right. Let me get back to that. My least favorite. Let's see. That his
it starts with a G, maybe.
Or an H. Depending on who you ask, or an H.
I would think that his only means of getting his point across with the propaganda that the Jews were doing was to kill them all off. I think he could have went about it a different way. He didn't have to do mass genocide. I'm just saying, like, if there's a problem in it, there's ways to go about it. You don't have to kill them all off. Like, if you know their propaganda with sex exploitation and controlling the banking systems and all that shit.
Hold the phone. So
it smells like there's a fucking forest fire.
So what we're establishing, Turkey, is
Canada's on fire, Carlos.
The propaganda and shit.
That's what it is.
So what we're establishing is, Turk, that you're cool with getting the Jews out of there, just not.
He just
by
laid it
killing
on
them.
too heavy.
He laid it on too heavy. If he wanted to do it, like, I'm just saying, he was.
So you would also like to remove the Jews.
No, I didn't say that. What I'm saying is,
he should have done it.
What I'm saying is, you didn't have to.
He should have paid the Jews to move.
No, they weren't going to
rebuild the Indians. That's what Turkey's trying
Oh
to say.
yeah,
No, that's not what I'm trying to
because
say.
we paid the Indians. Yeah, we
No,
paid
that's
them
not what you're trying to say.
What I'm saying is, instead of just killing them all off for the propaganda and the sex shit and controlling the bank systems and all that shit, he said that they did, and all.
He just
There's
hired the
ways
wrote
to go.
PR firm. He
wrote a
chosen
whole
a better
PR
PR team, is what you're saying.
But all I'm saying is, you could have went about it without mass genocide that they quote unquote said he did. So,
Right. So if he'd have just got him, send them all back to like Jerusalem or something.
I'm not saying all that. I don't know the alternatives to it, but mass genocide.
Just not it. Mass genocide was just not it.
Way to overreact, right?
Yeah, way to overreact. Just kill them all off. Like,
tell us how you really feel, Adolf.
Anyway, psychics.
Yeah, that is psychic physics.
I like.
All right, let's go around.
What if Hitler had a sidekick and was just like, "Look,
he did.
He did. He had a fucking team of psychics and mystics and fucking like seers and fortune tellers and shit. I'm not kidding.
Yep.
Like Hitler was into all of this shit. Hitler
and actually them appropriating that swastika comes from Theosophy, and they were all about that shit. And they weren't using it evil. It was when Hitler came in and stole it that it got.
That's actually true. That's why he adopted that symbol. Like Hitler knew where that symbol came from, and that meaning was part of his bit. But anyway, Kelsey, you were gonna say go around and everyone list who their favorite psychic is.
Not favorite, but where we stand or how we feel about it. But yeah, Turk. You didn't know that Hitler was deep into the mystics and the dark arts and magic and all that kind of stuff, bud.
And dinosaurs. Really? He also really liked dinosaurs and meth.
He had a task force that he sent out all over the planet to collect stuff. I can't remember their name. I'll get it later.
Indiana
Jones.
OSS was the U.S.
Okay,
that was the precursor to the CIA. Fuck, what was the name of it?
Well, it's technically they end up being Germans anyways. Project Paperclip, isn't that right?
Yeah, we did bring over a lot of Paperclip scientists and engineers and philosophers and thinkers.
Yeah,
who's the big one? Von Braun, the one for NASA that we,
Von Braun is our guy that we brought on. We also brought over pretty much like half of the original NASA team was from the Nazi space program. Lockheed Martin ended up getting a bunch. Northrop Grumman ended up getting a bunch, like private companies that ended up getting a bunch of old Nazi scientists.
Yeah. And before we go around, I would like to say that it turns out, I guess, the psychics that Hitler got weren't too good because they didn't see that coming, did they?
Absolutely the fuck not.
Well, he escaped to Argentina, bro.
Maybe they were giving him good advice, but he was just too methed up to fucking hear it.
Yeah. I think there was like a trio of sisters. One of the lead psychic was this blonde chick. They were all about the UFO.
He fell for the blonde. That's what got him.
Yes, thanks for blondes.
Hitler had a Macbeth thing going on, and they'd follow him around and sing gospel. What?
He went mute.
Oh shit! They got him. I was asking too many questions.
Oh yeah. I don't know, man.
My lip pillow.
But I don't know about all that. But okay. Well, anyways, we'll start with you, Carlos. I don't know if I would start with Tuss, but I don't know if he's coming back on.
Or what happened?
There we go. There he is. No, we were going to go around and just I don't know, from our own opinions, how do you feel about psychics, or to what depth or level do you believe in it, or maybe not at all?
Well, my favorite psychic is, first off, Miss Cleo. I'm a big fan of her work.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I called her several times for her free tarot readings, which is not free.
What? It's bullshit.
Call me now.
It was a collect call. It was a collect call. You had to pay for the collect call.
It's real. It's real. Like they've there's plenty of evidence that the government's been big into it. Supposedly because they heard that the Russians were breaking into that area of research, and then, or we heard it first, vice versa. It kind of seems like everybody was just kind of working themselves up into a frenzy at the beginning of the Cold War, and they were trying to figure out ways to get a leg up on the other. But there's we talked about the Stargate program, I think, what they were doing at Stanford Research Institute. Hal Puthoff, he was one of the handlers for Tom DeLonge and To the Stars Academy. He was on Rogan recently. He's a part of a lot of these congressional hearings going on with the UAP stuff. And I think
is that the real deal though? Some of it's fake.
He's a spook. Like the work he was doing supposedly was so classified that he wasn't even like in the public record until the 90s or something, but he'd been working with the CIA and all those programs since the 70s, I think.
Well, I just know some of them are fraud, not frauds, but I don't know. They misspeak on shit.
It's misdirection. It's a lot of misdirection. But
counterintelligence.
It's just the more they talk about the UFO stuff, they're going to have to talk about the weird psychic angle, because people have experiences of that too with UFO encounters. And they are like they went from UFO to UAP, so they're in the middle of a rebranding, and now the official term from the government supposedly is psionics. They're not calling it
what about
that stuff. They're calling it
spherical
psionics.
ball they found. You seen that shit?
The orb?
Little orb thing. You seen that
silver
shit?
orb?
Yeah.
I've seen the orb videos. I've seen actually a few of them. So. I've seen a few of the metallic orb videos. They're kind of all over.
Is it real?
I don't know if it's real, but I have seen a lot of them come from a lot of different places.
The story of that a family
definitely seem to be depicting the same thing. I think that's pretty.
Apparently they caught one or something.
I don't know. I don't believe that shit. I don't believe they. No. I think that if they did catch one, we wouldn't be hearing about it in the news.
Yeah.
I think most of this shit's AI. Yeah.
Very possibly. Very possibly.
It's kind of a conversation that goes back to when me and Turk first started the show, and it was just me and him. One of our first conversations, we were talking about the show. Was it The Treasure on Oak Island? I was like, me and Turk were talking about it, and I was like, look, man, if they actually found something, the show is ending immediately.
I completely agree.
I'm not saying you did, but I'm bringing back that conversation. It's like that, though.
That's how I feel about that fucking Skinwalker Ranch show.
Yeah,
guys.
Turk loves that shit too.
I love that show too, but I don't believe that they're actually dealing with anything out there.
No, I don't. There's some. The only thing that keeps me plugged in is that one time they got into something. I don't know. The dude out of nowhere had a fucking giant ass bulge that came out of his head. Like that shit threw me off.
Dude, and Skinwalker Ranch, there's one guy that randomly just gets a fucking tumor under his scalp in like minutes. Like that is real. I'm not saying that there's I think the property's just radioactive, but that's a whole other episode. We should do a whole episode about Skinwalker Ranch.
And there's still this has been like 5 seasons fucking trying to figure out what's in the side of this fucking basin. It's like blow it up.
Oh my god, I completely agree. It's been 5 seasons of launching rockets, and then going, that one didn't work.
Yeah, and they put tracers on all these rockets, and it shows all these rockets that disappear into this mason. They're just like, what's going on? There's something going on inside that fucking mason. You need to open it up. It's clearly been fucking destroyed. Open this motherfucker up. There's something underneath this fucking mason.
We're gonna get a big drill. Oh, the drill stopped working. Oh, we're gonna get a big jackhammer. Oh, the jackhammer stopped.
Every time they get anything that fucking has a computer on it or a motor, and they get next to this mason, it just stops working. This is odd. No, it isn't. It's been going on 5 years. This isn't odd at all. This is a common occurrence. But anyway.
Does Robert Bigelow still own Skinwalker Ranch? Do they talk about that?
No. Robert Bigelow does not own Skinwalker. He sold it to some creepy serial killer Mormon dude.
Yeah,
who is funding this show that we're talking about right now?
But Robert Bigelow, he sold it. Robert Bigelow sold it right after he started funding space exploitation and shit like that.
Yeah,
he started funding space.
he's had Bigelow Aerospace for.
Oh yeah. But I'm just saying, it's
before
like,
he got Skywalker Ranch.
There's
something
weird. Robert
There's
Bigelow
a
sold the property
weird
about 10 years back.
nexus. Yeah, there's a weird nexus in Vegas because I think Bigelow was supposedly rumored to be a part of the Majestic 12 program.
Yeah, they talked about that a lot.
Also, like, fucking Howard Hughes had made Vegas like his stronghold in the last couple of years of his life when he was, being a recluse and shit. And he specifically only hired Mormon bodyguards. So there's some kind of Mormon mafia aerospace crossover in Vegas that's really fucking nuts.
Well, it's in Utah. It's out there in Utah.
And the CIA primarily recruit out of Mormons, apparently, because they're kind of pre-programmed with cult, religious, very, prim and proper, following the rules constantly.
It's not even that. They also just look so fucking. They come off as so unintimidating. You need that for field agents.
That's true. Just give them a bicycle.
I laugh at the Mormons all the time when I'm going by them. There's a lot of them in Colorado.
No, dude, that's covert ops. You better not fuck with them.
They are the least intimidating. They're like wearing brand new suits. And they're
not the ones down in Mexico though. There's a couple of Mormon compounds in Mexico. Yeah,
there are. Ones. Those are FLDS though. Those are like mega Mormons. Those are the Mormons that scare the other Mormons.
Yeah. We're talking about your mainstream guys.
Your normal CIA agent sort of Mormons.
Yeah.
Milk toast.
But back to that whole thing you was talking about. If the TV shows, they'll cut it off if they find anything. There was a show that me and Shelby watched. It lasted like a season and a half, 2 seasons. It was called Cooper's Treasure, where it was an astronaut. He was like one of the first astronauts that took trips around the Earth, and
Gordon
in a
Cooper?
spaceship. Yeah, Gordon Cooper. He took a bunch of photographs of metallic anomalies in the oceans around the Earth, and he had a map out where treasures could be found in the Earth. And it was like a season and a half in, they just cut the show, and they were on the precipice of finding this treasures that he found from his.
Was it in the Bahamas and down near Cuba and shit?
I think so.
That's a big thing that's gonna pop at some point. So like, the corner of Cuba, I think, and there's an area called Bimini. It's where the Bimini Road is, all those rocks.
Yeah, I know
like, what looked like a Roman road at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, they talking about this Atlantis or something like that.
Yeah, dude, like there's something going on down there. Like apparently, like okay, this ties in. We were talking about you got Colonel Angus, right? Colonel Sanders' daughter was big into a lot of the metaphysical stuff and finding Atlantis. And they were like selling land plots in the middle of the ocean in that area because they were saying that land was going to rise there. And it got popular enough amongst these, people with a lot of money and nothing to do that apparently John Lennon bought some of these plots. And Hemingway was obsessed with it. Like supposedly Hemingway, when he was down there drinking and writing, he also went out on his boat all the time, and his cover was that he's looking for Spanish galleons. And that's kind of like the code that they use a lot when they're looking for stuff that supposedly has something to do with Atlantis in that area. They claim they're looking for Spanish galleons. A lot of people think maybe this is why Ghislaine Maxwell was so big into submarining. She had her submarine license, and that's Epstein's girlfriend. And one of her alter ego names that she would use was Janice Atlantis. That was one of her names she would use.
Janis Joplin Atlantis.
That sounds sexist.
The most Atlantis.
That sounds
any
like
Janice ever
Morissette. Janice Joplin.
Atlantis
Morissette.
Atlantis Morissette.
Oh, dude. Goodness. I'm so turned on right now.
Damn.
It's like butt fuck. It's like butt sexman.
Butt sexman.
It's crime bound.
Yeah. So Tusk, is that do you think inherently that we've always had psychics, or is that like a chemically altered space? Like,
It could be
what are your
both.
opinions of the oracles of Delphi thousands of years back? Things of
Oh,
that
shit.
nature.
Okay.
Do you think it's
Well,
always been prevalent?
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely like in pagan prehistory, like the use of entheogens was how we would communicate with, like the spirit world or whatever. But also, what was I watching? Like ayahuasca is interesting, like what they do in South America, because you can't make that compound unless you know to mix two different types of plants. And supposedly they learned that by observing jaguars, because you really start tripping once you like consume the stuff and then you purge it. And so they were like observing jaguars eating these plants and then getting sick, and then the animal would just trip the fuck out. So a lot of this is kind of it in human history. It originates from just kind of observing nature and how the animals interacted with the plants. But the way they used those drugs back then, they were more serious. They were in like a ceremonial context, like it was a rite of passage.
It was as serious to them as like the court system is in our society, right? Like this is how their society functions, yeah.
It's also
I think the
like
oracles of Delphi might have been a similar thing. Like they've talked about geothermal vents or gases coming up
it was
the
a
ground.
gas leak.
Yeah, it's like it's very possible that there have been a lot of people out there who have gotten completely legitimate reputations as being psychic or oracles or something that were one of the
Didn't
classic.
the oracles be virgins or something like that, man?
Sure, sometimes they can have whatever rules and stipulations they want around it, but at the end of the day, I have trouble with psychics that I can't rule out isn't one of the main four, which is I've never seen a psychic that I can't confirm isn't either lying, intoxicated, insane.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What up?
Yo.
Not much.
Welcome on, Nick. Phantom Void. He has been a longtime friend and listener, and leaves us some sweet comments and stuff. Just glad to finally have you on, man.
He's a collaborator.
Thank you.
He's helping with the comic.
Yeah. Are you talking about buttfucker?
Yeah. We are.
Yeah, we've been talking about
I heard part of that, like immediately, like I was like looking on it as my computer was booting up, and I heard buttfucker mentioned. And I was like, all right, we're gonna get into that the minute I hop on. So,
well, you caught us at a good point. Carlos was finishing off telling us about the 4 psychics you can't deny.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lying, mistaken, insane, or intoxicated.
okay.
I feel like every time I see a psychic or come up across something like that, it always strikes me as it's probably one of those 4. And
I'm
I
the
never really
intoxicated.
know. Yeah, you're the intoxicated psychic, but you are prophetic.
Drunken master.
You're giving us all of the wisdom.
I drink and know things.
But, however, Buttfucker is technically a psychic superhero, right?
Yeah, his cock of justice, it can follow any crime.
Right.
Evil.
Oh,
okay.
He's got a homing cock. Didn't we say that?
Yeah.
He's got a homing cock. He's got a fucking what was it, Tux? You were telling me it was a pocket dimension earlier. Like what the fuck? Like
Yeah, I think Kelsey,
donut.
what I was working on art wise, that's up for debate. I was just thinking of that.
Like at this point, it just sounds like I'm gonna this sound weird. How I'm gonna say it's a cooler version of Thor's hammer. It's a cooler version of Thor's hammer, pretty much, except it's just his cock. Like it's just.
Is it lead him around?
Maybe it's more like he's got one of those.
Fly?
He's got one of those Doctor Strange sling rings, but it's a cock ring.
What's that blue thing from the Watchmen where he just
and it's sleeved up, bro? It's tatted up.
We can't talk about Watchmen. We can't spoil it. As much as
I will get to reading it.
Ooh.
I was gonna say, you talk about the Doctor Strange thing. I'm just imagining him doing like the circle thing, but he's like helicopter dick.
He's doing the
pretty
helicopter.
Much. Yeah, he's doing helicopter dick pretty much. That's how he has to get at a certain speed.
You talking about Grumpy Kermit type shit? You know, so.
We'll see. As much as I enjoy them, we will explore the depths and the origin stories and the rivals of
the crevasses.
Seymour, yeah, the crevices of all that. I guess since we got you on, I'm excited and having you as a guest, Nick. What would you say? How do you feel about psychics?
Funny enough, I don't really have much to say about psychics, and the reason why I think that's kind of funny is because growing up, my mom was a Wiccan. Like she loved playing with like Ouija boards and stuff, but even then, like I don't know too much about that whole thing. I'd say at the very least, I mean, I guess the most knowledge I've had is like those radio psychics, like the ones who are just like, oh yeah, if you call into our show, I can tell you about your future and stuff like that. And I can't tell you the amount of people I like, my mom's friends who have done that. And then just like, yeah, I said this is supposed to happen to me in the future and whatnot. I'm like 20 years or so, and it's like 20 years later that hasn't happened at all or anything like that. So
don't you talk about Delilah like that?
Talk about what?
Chill.
What I said? Don't talk about Delilah like that. You know what I'm talking about?
It's about she never said she was a fucking psychic. She's just a soft rock DJ who has a very sexual older lady voice.
She can get it.
Yeah. Look it up. Look up Delilah. She's still around.
Look up Delilah. Hold on.
She makes you. Yeah, she makes you want to, ignore the Bengay that's coming off of her body and give her sweet caresses by the fireplace.
Good Lord.
As you watch the Golden Girls.
After she threw a hip out?
Well, that's why she wears the life alert. Anyways,
psychics.
Psychics. All right. So I'll say we covered so Nick, you don't have a foot in it either way. You don't know. You just think that
not really. Bullshit. No, not. I don't think it's bullshit. I just more so don't have like an opinion on it. Really, it's like I mean, like I'm not gonna sit there and tell people like it's I don't believe in it or it's fake or whatever. I personally just don't have like an opinion on it. That's like the most I can say.
I would also say I know what you mean. Like it's hard to have an opinion on like psychics as a whole. It's very case by case, right? Like there's a lot of people out there claiming to be varying degrees and they all use different terminologies and they all have like slightly different rules and shit. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of like take each person base by basis. Is this person bullshit?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest opinion, the one opinion I will have is the people who are obviously they know they're fucking bullshitting and just taking advantage of like vulnerable people. Yeah, they can go fuck themselves. Like,
are you talking shit about Miss Cleo? Miss Cleo, Nick?
No, does she do that? I don't know who Miss Cleo is. Does she do that?
She's a clairsentient or something like that. She is
clairvoyant. She's a Blair
clairvoyant. Yeah,
Blair boy.
Clairvoyant.
Claritin Clear.
Claritin Clear.
Oh, dude, I fucking need that.
It's like
for dry red eyes.
She's a clairvoyant. She sees in her mind's eye. She sees in her mind's eye.
Is that like code for her looking at her vagina?
That's what the military was straight up looking at.
Yeah. There's clairvoyance, clairaudience,
clear audience.
Clear audience. Turkey knows how to clear audience. We was talking about Hitler a few moments ago.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God.
Clairsentient.
It's okay. We solved all those issues. We're on to the next one.
Nick, he started his conversation with, look, I'm not saying that Hitler's not a bad guy, all right? I'm not saying...
Why is there a butt for that? That sounds like a butt's coming up like immediately.
No, there wasn't a butt. There was a butt, but it didn't go in the direction that they thought it was, and they kept fucking was like, hold up. What do you mean?
He hired the wrong PR team.
They hired the wrong PR. I was saying that he wasn't. I'm not saying he wasn't a bad guy, but he had a goal set in mind. He went around it the wrong way.
You're saying he's an overachiever, like he's someone. He had a.
Would you say you give him an A for effort?
Definitely.
Don't give him an A. Do not give him the A. For the love of God, do not give him the A. Go back now.
That's it. I give him the problem with it is like you're implying that there was a right way to handle the Jews. Like,
no, there's. No,
you said he went about it the wrong way, so there's a right way.
No, there's a right way, not killing them all.
God.
If you felt that
what do you mean by the right way?
There's steps and steps and balances. He could have went. He didn't have to kill them all. He could have went like the whole
diplomacy.
Diplomacy, yeah.
The old Native American treatment, like
no,
how you said.
No. That's diplomacy.
You turn. This road only goes off a cliff. I promise.
That's fine. You can throw me off the cliff. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, no. I did have something I wanted to like. I guess like I've talked to Kelsey about for a while now, and I told Tux earlier today.
Oh my God.
This is a different tangent entirely. So, have you guys ever heard of Chris Chan?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
I don't know if Shelby.
Speaking of psychic.
Yeah, I was going to say, is Chris Chan a psychic? Chris Chan is a psychic, right?
He is a psychic. Actually,
Like,
yeah, you're right. It's not just a
he's
tangent. So
here's one of those four I was talking about. The probably bordering on schizophrenia, right? Chris Chan, if you don't know, is an online personality who, in reality, is just severely mentally ill, but it evolved into him declaring himself as the mouthpiece, this channeling instrument to peer into this alternate universe where his spirit animal gives him advice on how to live his life. And his spirit animal is this combination of Sonic and Pikachu. You follow me? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm following you as
I thought you froze, bro. You look like you blown away by this.
I was not expecting to talk about this today. This is
no, I wanted to.
I told way too more.
Yeah, no, I told Kelsey I wanted to bring up for a long time because I've been like, okay, so for context for me, right, especially in the last few years, I just got my PC set up. I stream on Twitch and do my own thing or whatever and try to, and I've been delving headfirst into rabbit hole after rabbit hole on the internet. Now, granted, I'm like young millennial, whatever. I grew up with the internet technically, but I've never been this invested before. And I went down a Chris Chan rabbit hole. Holy fucking shit! That and Scientology, which we don't speak of because I hate Scientology. Go fuck yourself.
Wait. So you're saying you recently got the Chris Chan info?
I knew about him in bits and pieces because of my friends. They knew about him, but like since I got my PC, I've been like, there's times where I just take a rip off my pen and I'll just like go on my computer and just start listening to shit while I'm playing Cyberpunk. And I've been listening to that.
That's the way to do it.
But here's the thing: you don't want to do that while listening about Chris Chan because his life is fucking like you heard the term lolcow, right? He's a fucking horror cow. Like when you get to the which you think would be the conclusion of him going to prison, or he went to jail at one point. I'm not going to spoil that in case you guys want to watch it now or later at some point.
Wait, where are they housing him? Is he in the male ward?
No, he's out. He's out now. He's actually making money on YouTube again. He's out.
Like, they let him out
because he's too mentally incapable of like being locked up or something.
He was cognitively incompetent to stand the charges or whatever.
Oh, I didn't know.
What were the charges?
You guys, hold on. Before we say the charges,
that'll make us lose all audience members.
Turk, I want to ask you, and I want to ask you, bro, and I want to ask. Well, Tux, I think Tux already knows about him. I think. But do you guys want to watch a video talking about it at some point, either on this stream or another stream? Because I'm down to go on a deep dive with you guys. So see how your guys' reaction to that.
I'm down.
So save it.
I'm looking at
pictures. Yeah, save it. You're looking at pictures.
We can pick up another when we do another episode. We'll have one we go down the Chris Chan rabbit hole.
Yeah,
and I know a little bit because of Nick and Carlos. But yeah, homeboy should be in prison, man. Like
I feel like the more I learn and the more I read and the more I talk about Chris Chan, the more I feel like I'm getting the schizophrenia like contagiously, like proxy. Like I feel like the psychosis starts to slip into my mind, and I'm like, what am I talking about?
Yeah,
what am I talking about right now? Like, what am I talking?
Where it starts bleeding into the fucking scenery.
He's like, he is. Yeah, it's like you start reading Lovecraft, and this starts to become your actual life. He's like an SCP. Chris Chan is the cognito hazard. I really got warned. Like I fucking. Yeah, just be warned. I'll go down the path if you want to, but fuck.
Yeah, no, like the thing is too. It's funny that you bring that up about the schizophrenia and shit. It's apparently like online people believe there's actually a curse with some of his shit because he makes I don't know if you're seeing it, Turk, but he makes like Sonichu medallions. That's his like golden child he came up with his creation, and people buy them. You can buy them on Etsy for like $50 It's made out of melted crayons, and he makes money off that. But if you buy one, a lot of people have said that they bought one and their life has just fallen apart at certain points. because right after they pop one,
I
like
believe it.
they'll
Hey,
lose a bunch of shit, money, like their wives will divorce them or cheat on them.
that sounds like
Shit
some
will happen.
psychic shit.
No, but wouldn't it be fair to say that if you were going on Etsy and you're buying $50 melted crayons, you're already making
Your life
choices?
your wife was already like your wife was already
kind
gonna
of
fucking
gift
leave
is
you, my
that?
guy.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you think that's why your wife left you? Okay, well that's why your wife left you.
The irony would be like if that's literally the reason. It's like $50
Dude,
my wife left me not because of my irresponsible spending habits, but because of Chris Chan. Chris Chan came and cuffed me and took my wife.
Oh God, that's a bad day.
Nick,
so are
Nick,
all the medallions the same color? Like they're the crayons that he didn't want to
Yeah,
eat?
they're the
His
same
least
color because it's
favorite
based off Sonichu. It's literally like a love child
yellow.
of Sonic
It's like
and
a yellow
Pikachu.
Sonic
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I'm doing
God.
as y'all are speaking. I'm looking over this AI.
Oh well, if you want to know
This
why I
is
went to
wild.
prison, I'm sure it's on his Wikipedia.
No, I see it.
Chris
This
Chan's
is-
an evil psychic. That's a good example.
Nick, if you want another comparable rabbit hole like this to go down, you should look up Temple OS.
I've heard of Temple. Wait, is that the guy with the? Am I thinking compiler? The guy who like talks about?
Yeah, the guy who made his own compiler.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that one I found out recently too, and yeah, he likes to call people the N word if they don't have a compiler.
Yeah, that guy's actually a schizophrenic, and he's dead now. He walked in front of a
Yeah, I
train,
heard
I'm
about
pretty
that.
sure.
I got to go
That
down
guy
the whole
was
rabbit
not
hole, but I've
psychic.
heard about him. Yeah.
He built his own operating system,
not
and he
psychic.
believed that he was a prophet of God.
Temple what?
Chris
Temple
Chan,
OS.
psychic. Guy that got hit by a bus, not psychic.
I don't know, man. He had his operating system automatically generate.
He knew
new
that
hymns.
bus was coming, so he stepped out and killed himself. That's
One could
how he
say.
was psychic.
One could say. But I mean, all right, guys. I mean, this has been a great, ample. What is the word I'm trying to think of? It's been
Clusterfuck.
at depth. Great, rich information about psychics. Because we went really deep into that. Let's. We're still going around the table. Shelb, how do you feel about psychics, man?
I believe you believe in it or you don't. I don't believe in it.
That's an asshole answer.
Yeah,
Come
but
on.
what do you
I believe in it. People are very easily persuasive. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't believe that? You think it's all
I
bullshit?
just think it's failure of human nature. That's what I feel like.
Failure.
It's a flaw in human nature.
I think there is something to be said for some people who are very naturally intuitive, right? Like they just read a room and they might be able to pick up on something
like social
subconsciously.
cues or
Social cues, subtle
empaths.
things that most people can't pick up on, and it seems like they're coming up with some grand epiphany, but in reality they might just be really intuitive and schizophrenic, or really
There was a
intuitive
TV
and
show
really
based
good
on
liar.
that.
They got the tism.
They got the
called
tism. They
Psych.
could be
Real
really
good.
Shell,
Yeah, psych.
Autism, yes. What?
Or
I
like
just found out there was a British group back in the 60s, like the British Premonition Society or something. It sounded like a MUFON, like a community-driven thing, but it was all about people, just local people coming together and sending in letters about dreams they thought they may have, and something along the lines of there was like a small British town next to a coal mining facility, and they had all this leftover coal that had been piling up over a decade, and it caused an avalanche and wiped out this middle school and a high school.
The Great Coal Avalanche of 1938 or whatever. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I heard about it, where it killed all the kids in the schoolroom, and the
but
little girl had a nightmare before.
Yeah. That I hadn't heard about that until this past week, but there's a lot of evidence to prove that whatever the psychic shit is, it works better in groups. There's something about I've heard it. They call it the power of 8. If you get 8 people together and they have a shared target that they're supposed to remote view on, or a concept they're supposed
Stranger
to think
Things.
on.
All right.
Yeah, dude, I think Stranger Things, they got a little too close to the target.
No, they
Season
did.
one. But I rewatched a couple of those seasons quite recently, and I do think that is a little bit of disclosure. Just
I have
giving
a-
the
I-
public
No, it
to
is.
think about things like that.
I have a follow-up question about that, about psychic energy being stronger in groups. There have been times where you have like a celebrity psychics. Celebrity psychics are kind of a weird thing to talk about because they seem to be more likely to be con artists, but at the same time,
definitely.
a lot of celebrity psychics become celebrities because more than once they have said something that made someone else go, "Holy shit, how did you know that?" Right?
Yeah.
So some of them have some stories to lend them some credibility, and there have been a few times over the last like 100 years where they've gotten multiple celebrity psychics together in one room, like on a live event or something, to see what they could do together. And every single time this has happened, you cannot get two celebrity psychics to agree on any fucking thing. You get celebrity psychics around, they just argue about what is true and what's not true. They're on the same
They're
page.
fighting
about
over
nothing.
turf.
It's kind of like that South Park episode where they're all just like beam, like shooting their wave, like brain waves at each other, practically. Yeah, whatever the fuck. Like they're just doing that.
I mean,
No,
Jedi battle shit.
Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I mean, like, I can agree with that. Like, maybe some people, like, you know, like I said, are very intuitive or something like that, or like I said, like people who say they're empaths and whatnot, they use that to help themselves boost their career or whatever, right?
Sure.
But at the same time, I can't imagine there's some of them who are like, there's just some coincidence or something, and it was just luck of the draw, but then the rest of the time is just them scamming, being like, and then just going back to like,
Could be.
Hey, I did this one point. It's like, yeah, sure, you got something on convenience, absolutely, but that doesn't mean you're just scamming people at this point because you use that one moment to help you make money, you know.
Yeah. Well, to play devil's advocate, not to say that it is, but let's say, what if there is something out there in the, you know, the ether or whatever that gives people this ability, and it's beyond, a little bit more beyond than just subconscious and being an empath or whatever,
right?
Wouldn't it make sense that maybe that's part of why, that's the structure of why, like if you get two psychic celebrities, if both of them are legit, they would argue with each other because you're getting the material, but it's being interpreted different by a different person with different biases and different understanding of what you see. Because I mean, I don't know how cliche it is, but in every fucking movie you ever see with a psychic, what is the one thing they always say? It's like, it doesn't work like that. It comes to me in flashes. I see part of it. I don't see all of it.
Yeah.
So you could be getting like slightly different material, interpreting it in a different way. I'm not saying that it is true or it isn't. Sure. But
my thing is, back in the
like
day,
the Nostradamus thing.
Yeah, there was only one, you know, well-known psychic back in the day, like Nostradamus. I mean, nowadays there's everybody around the corner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, witch duck.
What the fuck,
bro? Witch duck.
Well, okay, Shelby, but even then, you got to understand, dude. Nostradamus wasn't the first psychic, man.
I know, I'm not the first psychic. I'm just saying.
And he himself didn't consider himself a psychic
back then. Now you can just, you know, walk around the corner. Hey, there's a psychic right down the road. You know,
being a psychic is probably like the oldest grift in human society.
It has to be,
like,
right?
setting up the priest class. You know, like how did McConaughey break it down in season 1 of True Detective? He's like talking about the church. He's like, hey, that guy in the sky tells me you should give me half of your share because something's coming tomorrow.
Yep.
So like, and my high school English thesis paper was on the use of Armageddon in literature. And I should not have picked that because the more research I did, just the further back in time I went. Like, it's always been a fucking thing.
It's always been a thing that humans are worried about. It's always been a thing that humans are worried about.
Yeah. Fear.
Yeah.
It's all about fear.
Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, follow up. Like, can anyone here like list an example that they have had personally, or like maybe you saw some shit on TV or YouTube, or you went, "Well, I believe that person's a fucking psychic." Like, could you guys name a person that you guys genuinely feel has something going? I have trouble.
I only can think of people who've actually been proven to scam, so I'll wait until everyone else says what they say.
Chris Angel.
You know what? No, that's not bad.
Chris Angel, the brain rapist or whatever.
He's a magician. He's not a fucking psychic.
It's an illusion, Michael. It's an illusion.
Do you believe in hypnosis then? I mean, that's sort of kind of
hypnosis is real. Like,
they can do hypnosis, but you can do hypnosis pharmaceutically, right? Like we can even like put that in the lab.
Yeah, but there's a straight up guild for hypnotists. Like, you have to get a license to do that. They are
okay. So can you license a psychic?
I think it's freelance.
That's a great question. Why aren't there licensed psychics? It's because who determines if a psychic is real or not?
Because
Only they
psychics
know
are
what they
like
got going on in their head.
buskers. Psychics are like buskers playing a fucking guitar in a subway or something, and then the hypnotists are the ones that have a practice.
Yeah.
I was gonna. Oh,
Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say. There was one I saw. This one's more of a crazy ass fucking psycho, like psychic chick. I said psycho, but like it's both. She was on TikTok, right? And she used tarot cards, and it was a university a couple years ago. They had like a murder or something like that, right? And it was a couple, and they caught the person who did it. They actually found the evidence, convicted that person, whatever.
Mhm.
Well, this person used her tarot cards to say it wasn't that person. It was a different person from a different university. I think from a different university or someone who wasn't even affiliated with these students, and said it was a whole like CW love drama thing practically. And was just like, and everyone's asking her to like, how do you know? Do you know the professor who actually did it? Do you know about and then she goes, no, I don't know them at all. I don't know anything about them. I'm just going based off my readings. And like, it got to the point where obviously she was bullshitting. And they started sending her cease and desist. They started sending her court documents. She took one of the court like the cease and desist, I think, or not the cease and desist. It was like a summons, I think, for her to go to court. She turned it into toilet paper and wiped her ass with it.
Wow.
She literally was just like, everyone's attacking me. Nothing I say is a lie. All this stuff and
so here, look at my document.
Yeah, look at and she made a TikTok where she's like, "This is what I think of your summons," and she literally just like, and this, I think maybe I do have a little bit of an issue, but it's because of shit like that. Like I said, I know there's people out there who actually, like I said, I cannot dismiss it and say it's not real. But when you see shit like that, where people who are obviously just doing it for clout or money or whatever, and just
definitely gives it a bad name.
It gives it a bad name. It fucks it up. So I actually feel bad for the people who actually are trying to be genuine with this shit. Yeah. And then you have some dumbass on TikTok who's like, "Oh, I'm gonna like ruin," because they actually ruined that professor's life a little bit. She got harassed, got called a murderer, got called all these things for a story that this woman came up with.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. Yeah.
Well, there's also that brings up the difference between like potentially military grade psychics or your random free roaming busking psychic, right? Because like supposedly the difference is that there's a certain amount of the population that is born with a heightened sense of intuition or empathy
or some sort of actual like spiritual sense.
But then like there's something about like the gifted program that was something going on in the 80s and 90s where the military was going out and like screening the public for these kids and then putting them into programs. And there's it's on the fence as to whether or not this went down, but there's something called the Montauk Project that was supposedly a split off from the Philadelphia experiment where they were straight up abducting kids like that in the local population and then traumatizing them. So that seems to be the key, is that they find these kids that are already kind of talented, right? And then they just abuse the shit out of them in different ways. And that's essentially what Stranger Things is about.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting to talk about that. I was like, same thing you touched on. It was, I think these ones that are televised or they got all this media about them, they don't have shit. The real telepathics and the ones that they're being weaponized.
Yeah, they've been snatched up already.
That actually does bring up a good question, is that you only ever see psychics who are like, it's their job, right? Like it's their source of income. Let's be realistic, right? If you were a psychic,
yes,
what's more likely? That you would charge people money for that service, or that the government would black bag you, you disappear forever, and they'd make you
don't want to
What's
be
more
known.
likely?
Yeah. You don't want to be known. You hate it. You don't want to know it.
I can't imagine if anybody on this planet was actually psychic, they'd be like going on TV. Like, no fucking way.
Hey, check me out. You'd be snatched up if you was real.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's that thin line between in that argument is if you become a well-known person, then if you are up and gone and black bagged, you'd be noticed. Like the people would know. And that's the tricky point, is if you're trying to do that for a living and you're trying to gain notoriety and you are a legit psychic, you want to have a meteoric rise. So there is no, the shortening the chance or the range of time when you get black bagged and taken away.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
But
because
in
at that
those
point you're
instances, a public figure, right? But in that instance,
Yeah.
the federal government has had a fine history with just having public
Yeah.
figures assassinated.
Yeah,
If that were the case, why wouldn't the government just have you get shot in the head?
Well, I'm
No,
saying,
exactly.
but I would say to counter
It's like
that,
Nicolas Cage and
there's a
Next. You're
difference.
just like,
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like you have a Jimmy Hoffa disappear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like if you have a concentration of on the way to the top psychics all disappearing at the same time, that kind of pinpoints. That's a little bit more obvious to something strange going on.
But what are you? But what are we gonna do about it? They don't give a fuck what we do about it.
You put a
but they
foil
want
on your
the.
head.
This goes back to the whole y'all believe it or not you, but the whole flat Earth thing. It's control, man.
Yeah, it's control. That's what I'm saying. Like, even if they did, you had a round of fucking. You say you had 8 psychics. Boom, they were upcoming. They were legit, and they got big and popular, and they wanted to snatch them up. They could snatch them up if they fucking wanted to. Nobody's gonna stop them.
Yeah, but as the
That's
government
like all
and the
the
saving
scientists
face and
getting killed.
to keep people from sniffing and barking in that direction or trying to uncover what's going on, you'd have to layer it out in time so it doesn't seem like all these psychics are getting taken all at the same time.
No,
that's a
yeah,
good point. That's a
And
good
you
point.
probably straight up just kill a couple of them so it all looks like different kinds of accidents.
exactly.
You know,
Fucking-
that may be the good delineation line between the grifters and the fakes and the celebrity sidekicks versus the real ones, because like, going back to hypnosis, I think that's kind of known within the celebrity psychic racket, is that they do employ hypnosis whenever they're interacting with people, and that's why they tend to get the result. They know what kind of results they're going to get.
Yeah, it's crazy what you can get people to believe when they're more suggestible.
But also fun fact that I found out not super long ago, and this always kind of cracked me up because I didn't know that this was even going on. But up until just recently, the Texas Rangers, and yes, as in not the baseball team, but
Walker.
the actual the Walker Texas Ranger. Until recently, they use meditation and hypnosis on people all the time.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just recently got outlawed.
Whoa, what?
Chuck Norris could hypnotize you. I mean, he probably could do that without even trying. But
So when the snake bit him and the snake died, it was hypnosis.
it probably was. That's when he
He
slammed.
just gaslit the snake into saying like, "No, I poisoned you after you bit me."
He's like, oh.
That. Yeah, that's why Chuck Norris can believe it's not butter. That's how he can slam a revolving door. That's how he refers to himself in fourth person.
I forgot all those Chuck Norris memes.
That's why he talks about Fight Club.
Love you, bro.
All these things. You heading
All
out?
right, I gotta jump off. Kellen just got here.
All right, I love you, man.
Yeah, man.
Have a good night, Joe.
Good night.
Let's
All
show.
right. Next time, boss. One love, bro.
Tight dick player.
All right, Turk. Good one.
I tried to. Well, like my favorite Chuck Norris joke is Chuck Norris once took a trip to the Virgin Islands, and now they're just the islands. I'm trying to think of a way to incorporate that to like an Epstein joke. Like Chuck Norris went to Epstein Island, and then what? What happened? Like what?
Chuck Norris went to Epstein Island, and Jeffrey Epstein changed his wicked ways.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They all lived happily ever after.
They all lived happily ever after.
If Chuck Norris gives you the finger, that's how many seconds you have left to live.
Chuck Norris went to the damn Epstein Island and it turned into the Virgin Isles.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know when Chuck Norris is going to kill you. Sorry, I used to know a lot of those. Those are big back in like.
Wasn't
I know
there, like,
they almost became like their own version of the Yo Mama joke.
It has a book. There's a whole book.
Wasn't there like a thing about him?
Yeah.
Like people think he killed Bruce Lee. Someone explain that to me. I don't know like the whole.
I never heard that.
I
think
about rivalry between him and Bruce Lee. That's at least something.
They were
rivalry. They were friends.
That's why I heard
like
over the years.
Padawan?
Why?
Chuck Norris like Bruce Lee's Padawan or something? I'm sorry, Kelsey. Padawan is like apprentice, but it's from
some
Star
kind
Wars.
of horror for some shit island. Yeah.
Which, by the way, Kelsey, just so you're aware, Star Wars is superior to Star Trek. I just wanted to let you know. It's okay to be wrong.
So Nick, come on now. Come on, man.
Whoa.
I bring you onto the show, and you gonna do me like that? No.
No, to be fair, I'm still barely getting into Star Wars lore,
Jimmy's rolling over in his grave right now.
Nick, I told Kelsey yesterday that Jar Jar Binks was a superior character.
They know
in every way.
They're bringing him back. Apparently, I heard a rumor that they're putting one to shows recently, or something like that.
Jar Jar?
Yeah, I think they brought the actor back or something.
Hey, this is no means. This is not
Mando.
becoming a Star Wars show. This is not a fucking Star Wars show. Stop.
Right you sure? I got my lightsaber in the back. I'll grab it right now. I
don't care what you do with your toys and your personal time. That's fine. But look, what we're here to really talk about is
psychics.
Physics.
So,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, it seems like we're pretty much in agreement on psychics. But like, there seems to be a consensus that if we know your name, you're probably bullshit, and if you're a real psychic, we're never gonna know who you are.
For the most part,
be able to point to you.
But to be fair, we actually have not asked Turkey how he feels about it.
No, I was going to get
to it.
Tuss really touched base on it, and before I could get to it, I really do agree with that. Is if we know your name, I don't think that you are like with the programs that happened in the 80s and all. Like when he was talking, the disclosure that that Stranger Things, even though it's a TV show, they were actually using that.
They use popular media for propaganda all the time.
No, I'm talking about like using remote viewing and stuff. They did it with adults, and I want to say they did it in the 60s.
The Men Who Stare at Ghosts?
Yeah, they did.
I was gonna say that is based on real shit. Like that movie is based off of real shit.
Yeah, they started with adults, and then they had a program where they abducted children and stuff.
Yeah,
and
it seems like the most well-known psychics, if they are legit, they're from back in the day, like the 50s and 60s, and they got two of them. Are definitely, I know one is Ingo Swan. Like they got weird names. Andrea Puharich, I think that's the second guy.
Are these individuals still alive?
I think Ingo Swan is still alive.
But they would give them like they might give them longitude and latitude of an area, and they would remote view into a building and tell you everything that was in it.
Oh wow, Ingo Swan was from Colorado. He is dead though.
I was looking up real quick. I remember this from a couple years ago, but apparently it was declassified that they had like Russian experiments to, like for like ESP and shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why I say I think if they are real, and I believe they are, they're weaponized. They're not going to be for the viewing.
I agree. This is also kind of like, this is oftentimes when I think about like superheroes, or I think about the paranormal, or I think about Bigfoot or aliens or ghosts. I'm like, well, knowing who runs all of the countries on the planet, there's probably not a single one of those things that, if they are real, has not been weaponized at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Well, see, that's the thing. Like you hear it all the time. You probably hear it over and you just wash it off. There's parts of our brains that we don't utilize. And back to ayahuasca, that's something that will free your brain away from reality to.
But do you actually think like things like ayahuasca and LSD and DMT are all things that we use to communicate with the other side, or is it just tripping balls hard?
But I think that term is used loosely. The tripping balls, I think over a period of time, overuse of it and not stimulant, like using it as just a getaway drug, you might end up frying your brain. But if you use it as a sole purpose to access a part of your brain and use it for a purpose, it can be beneficial. But I think that's where that term comes. Tripping balls is you get to a point where you just fucking trip balls too much. You're gone. You're never coming back.
Yeah.
I think people look at you as a fucking crazy fool.
I think I philosophically kind of agree with what he's saying. Like, it's not that it's. I don't think it's either or. I think those are the same thing, right?
Exactly.
Have you guys had any experience with mind altering drugs?
Yes,
I have.
I've done acid like 3 times.
Okay, I say
too long. Too long.
I once blacked out by taking a quarter ounce of shrooms. The very first time I took shrooms.
Oh, you took a heroic dose?
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
that's what what's his fuck called it.
I didn't mean to. I did black out for many hours.
Oh shit,
But it's like in quantum theory, right? Parallel universes, infinite parallel universes, right? Let's say you're reading a book. Let's say you're reading like a classic, like actual Sherlock Holmes book, like 130-year-old Sherlock Holmes book, right? Arthur Conan Doyle. You're reading a story, but also, like, we know statistically and probability wise, this is a real timeline that exists somewhere. There's probably infinite versions of this timeline that you're reading. So are you reading a book, or are you reading a description of something that actually is happening somewhere out there right now? When you dream, or when you trip on a crazy chemical, or when a person has hallucinations for any reason, is that real, or are they actually looking, like, statistically probability wise, whatever they're looking at is real somewhere? Maybe it's not real here physically, but maybe there's some overlap. Maybe, like, I think it's just a philosophical way to look at it. Sometimes you watch a movie and you're like, yeah, this is just a fictional production. These are all actors and sets and stuff. Or this is also statistically a window into a parallel universe in real time. And philosophically, there isn't really a difference between those two concepts. They're kind of both true at the same time.
So kind of like
Pascal
it has to exist.
is all over the place and all the multiverse. Fucking
yeah, but so are you, because there's universes where Pedro Pascal is watching
like,
you play his characters on screen.
Yeah, Tux, for example, like your life could be
roles.
like a movie somewhere else, Tux, and then like your actor is like a British guy or something like that. Like he immediately just has like a British or Australian
who's really good at doing this accent. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Both are true. Both, like, it's not either or. But the point is that they're all true and they're all not true at the same time, which means that it's all the same.
What you're saying is Daniel Day-Lewis really is playing the Pope every time and has been the whole time.
Somewhere.
Yes. But also he's not.
So, like, I like the way you described that. The way I'm thinking of it is like, so it has to exist in each reality, but in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's actually that reality, or we all have to see it in some way, shape, or form, pretty much. And the reason why, like, let's say, for example, like, say a superhero, like a Marvel film, right? Yeah, obviously people can't fucking fly and shit, and no one can handle flying in a suit with no armor like Iron Man. But maybe their laws of physics are different there than they are here.
Yeah. Well, is anybody here ever? We were talking about this the other day. Salvia. Anybody ever messed around with that?
Yes.
I have not.
Yes.
I have not.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I have a story for your ass. I did it one time and I never do it again.
Well, yeah, it doesn't take too much.
Tell
right?
us about it.
No, I did it. I tried it one time.
You said you had a story.
Yeah, I did. I'll tell him.
Okay.
But,
his story is that he did it and he didn't like it.
But listen, I didn't like it.
Fair enough.
But, so I tried it one time. Okay. And it was planned out. I was going to do it after school. I was in high school. So I went to a safe place to try it. I was the only one that did it. I had safe people around me. So I hit it. It was like, breathe it in.
Ideal conditions.
Yeah, ideal conditions. They was like, breathe it in. You hold it in for about 10 seconds and release it. And you're going to.
You just take off. Yeah.
Yeah. So Avatar was on TV. I remember. Avatar.
Wait. The Last Airbender.
Not a safe environment.
The Last Airbender.
Oh, you're talking about the Last Airbender?
Last Airbender. Okay,
oh, okay.
Cartoon. All
Not
right, it was on
Pocahontas in space.
No.
We're back to ideal conditions. Okay, good.
The ideal condition. Avatar: The Last Airbender was on. I remember hitting it. I was sitting on the couch. I was still in my my school clothes and everything.
Wait, what's
I hit it. It was probably fall because I had blue jeans on at the time.
I mean, the show.
No, the season of the show. I don't remember the season of the show. I just know it was on TV. It was the Stoner show. So I hit it, and I held it in for 10 seconds, and I exhaled. So I remember the ceiling fan was full blast. Airbender was on a TV show, and I exhaled, and next thing you know, I just felt electricity go through the floor. I felt it come through my body, and I look up at the ceiling fan, and it's just, I could see the blades turning. I could see each revolution. I could see them turning. I'm like, holy fuck, it's getting hot in here. And then the Airbender, he was out of the TV, and
no shit,
out of the TV. My whole body just got hot. I said, why is the fan not blowing? It was like the fan's on full rotation. I said, no, it's not. It's done stopped. I see the blades. They're standing still. They're like, no, they're blowing. I said, no, they're not. So I just start taking all my clothes off. I was like, I'm burning up. I stood up, took my shirt off. I couldn't get my pants off all the way. They got stuck on my ankles, and I fell face first into the couch, and I was just tripping fucking balls. But I felt this electricity, a gravitational pull, just pull me back down and sit me down. It was like I could see it coming out of the floor and just coming through my legs and to my arms and just pulling me down, just like fucking sit here. And the airbenders just fucking out of the TV. This shit was wicked. I said,
I was hoping he was going to teach you how to airbend with the
that's right.
I think if I wouldn't have focused so much on the ceiling fan, I could have got there. But just the sole fact that I saw the ceiling fans spinning and it stopped, and they were like, "No, it's complete."
I can airbend.
They were like, they said the ceiling fan's still spinning. I said, "No, the fuck, it's not. I need to get the fuck out of here."
So when it was all over, like once it was all over and you were back on Earth and you kind of felt like you had your senses, did you feel like you walked away from that with any new knowledge, or like did you like realize anything? Did you learn anything in that experience? Or was that just like shitty and uncomfortable and you didn't want to do it again?
It was very shitty and uncomfortable because I was awkward with my pants around my ankles and no shirt on, face down on the couch.
Dog, that's a real question. You said high school Turks. Was this at my mom's house?
No. This is not there.
Why did you say at your mom's house?
This is not there.
Turk used to live with us.
No. I did. No, this was a vague period in between when I didn't live there.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was just curious. I was like, this all. I can just imagine my brother and sister just watching you take all your clothes and your pants off.
No, it wasn't there. I
had to airbend, but I firebended.
I had heard stories of salvia around that time I was staying with y'all, and someone smoked it and went running through the woods for hours.
The reason why I brought salvia up is because, like, I think one of the important things about the different uses of all these things is what people bring back and how many people report the same thing. So like
DMT
and ayahuasca, it's all like
the machine elves. The machine elves. Everyone talks about the machine elves.
Mantids. But with salvia, people report a lot of the physicality of it, like the bending and the stretching. Like you feel it in your body. You feel it in your mind.
I feel like I melded into the back part of the truck that I was sitting on.
Right. Yeah.
My old truck, my yellow truck, Turk.
Yeah. The last time I ever smoked salvia, this must have been like fucking 2010 or something. But I didn't really hell no.
No, I inhaled completely. They said hold it in like you damn hitting the fucking bowl.
Yeah.
For 10 seconds and then blow out. I got every bit of it.
But like, so I've only done it like maybe 2 or 3 times, and I have experienced the kind of like bending, squishing, physical reaction. But the last time I did it, I immediately had like the strongest sense of deja vu I've ever had. And I was looking it up to see if other people had experienced deja vu with it specifically. So, and at that time, I was staying in a townhome that used to be a family member's, and that family member had passed on. And it got me thinking, like, what if deja vu is a part of the multiverse experience? Like, that's when a bunch of the timelines are very similar and they're kind of smushing up together, and maybe that could explain ghosts too. Like, it's someone who has passed on in another multiverse, but you're so close to it, like step by step, that resonance from the person who is still alive somewhere else is kind of having a reverberation where you're at.
I've thought about that too. That is the basis of a lot of theories. That's the basis of the Mandela effect, which we've talked about. That basis that like our consciousness or our memories are hopping very, very, very similar branches. That's also been a lot, very, very talked about a lot in pop culture and sci-fi over the last 10 years. When every single movie needs to be about the fucking multiverse. So it's kind of forcing us to think about it all the fucking time for some reason. Is that more propagandic disclosure? I don't know.
Have you ever heard of quantum immortality? I think is what it's called, I believe.
Quantum, I think about that every time I have a near-death experience.
Yeah,
and which has happened to me like at least 15 times.
Oh shit! No, I was gonna say the first time I heard about it, there was a guy who I think he tried proving it by like jumping off a building or something. Because the idea is pretty much is from our perspective, he just killed himself. From his perspective, he survived that because his consciousness. He just went to another universe where he survived because that's from his perspective. So
which means he can't prove it.
Yeah, he can't prove it. Yeah, I mean, at the same time though, I can't imagine doing it that way or do it in general because. Yeah, he probably if it did work, he survived. He's probably just now like a vegetable, but practically
You don't need
he's
to
still
commit
conscious.
that hard.
Okay, but the problem with the quantum immortality theory is that it also suggests that you're choking on your food every time you eat. You die in a car crash every 10 feet in the car. Like it's suggesting that this happens constantly over your day, so that way you never notice when it happens.
I thought a good representation of that. Carlos, you've seen Lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like when Desmond was time traveling.
Yes.
Like he was just literally just going back to his own body in the past. Like I think maybe something.
I mean, I call that the Days of Future Past trope. That's a one of the genres of time travel. Is where you don't physically go back, you only cognitively go back, and it only works if you existed in the time period that you're going back to.
Yeah.
That's the same reason why they say they might have a hard time building a time machine is because there has to be one at that point you're going to.
If we're gonna Days of Future Past, if we're gonna actually build time travel and our Days of Future Passing is the only way to do it, then you can only time travel back to your own lifetime, for example.
Yeah, there's also a scientist who it was a Harvard scientist, I think Harvard, I believe. His dad passed away of cancer, when he was really young, and he wanted to what was it? He wanted to try to warn his dad, so he made I don't know how well it worked or if it did work the way he wanted to, but he tried making his own mini time machine. Now the thing is, it wasn't to like obviously send himself back. It was to send like light back in time to maybe leave like a message that says, hey, you have cancer, so he can catch it early, pretty much, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we can get more into like more time travel stuff at some point. I mean, it's a crazy aspect of how everything and how that kind of stuff works. Because in theory, if we had the time and the resources, in theory, we could build one right now. But the only catch is we would only be able to go back in time from the moment it's completed and successfully finished being built. You couldn't go, you can't go back before that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what worries me about all this quantum computing and the AI mix-up. Like, remember that guy we were talking about a few months ago? He was supposedly predicting the UFO flap, and then the drone thing happened. That's the dude that's been scraping the internet for language being used on the internet. Yeah. And he, supposedly predicted 9/11 a couple of months before it happened. And anyway, I was listening to something he was on recently, and there's a lot of people talking nowadays like the singularity has already been reached, and they're keeping it secret.
I think about the philosophical
with the time stuff and the time travel stuff. Have you all seen Pantheon on Netflix at all?
No, I would recommend. I haven't seen it.
It's kind of hard to get through. It's a kind of a slog when it starts out, but by the end of it, it got canceled early. But I think that's probably the best example of what we could be potentially facing. Is that essentially once we hit that point, like we don't need a time machine. The quantum computers and the AI mixed together are already going to be performing kind of time traveling functions on their own.
Completely agree. That's kind of how I've always thought about it.
Yeah, and it comes down to the whole concept of time being a spiral, is that it always has been. And so we always would have reached this point where tampering with the timeline is possible. So it's always been happening. Like it's really fucking trippy, the shit that people are now lending some legitimate fucking thought to.
You talking about Pantheon?
Pantheon on Netflix, yeah.
I see that's one I got on the queue.
So I know we've gone off on a bunch of different tangents and how is this loosely related to psychics, the original topic. I think the key thing that I'm trying to point to of how this still has to do with psychics is that perhaps there are people who all they're doing is cognitively tapping into simple or parallel enough realities or multidimensional shit. Like in the same way that like people talk about visions, like there are people who are constantly always psychic and always getting visions, but there are also all these indigenous cultures where you do an ayahuasca trip and you get one grand vision that's supposed to guide your entire life. like it's like a coming of age thing in a lot of different societies. They're indigenous societies all over the world that have some variant of what I just described. What if that's all that is? What if that is you peering into an alternate timeline and seeing a little bit of a play out of like, oh, this is the advice I'm supposed to take with me for my path specifically.
Yeah.
Right.
Like a
But
little
if there are people
butterfly
out
effect.
there who are able to tap into that. So when someone's predicting the future or providing the answer to some great mystery, they're just looking somewhere where that answer is already solved or something like that.
Yeah.
It
I
could
think-
all simply just be the same phenomenon.
I think the
Yeah.
time travel and the psychic stuff goes hand in hand because
think
it's
might.
it's temporal stuff that's being fucked with.
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's like, I know that person's keeping a secret right now and I know what that secret is. Like sometimes it is very factually appropriate to whatever problem the person is trying to solve right now. Or
Yeah.
at least that's how it's portrayed.
Well, have you
I
ever
think
have you ever experienced synchronicity? You
I
know,
don't know. I'm not sure what that means.
it's almost like the phone listening to you, and that's the targeting ads or the targeted ads. Like you'll be talking
That
about
happens
something
every day, every fucking day.
But
yeah.
before that happened, like you ever
Like in life.
you have a song
Yeah.
stuck in your head, and then later on in the day, someone brings the
Or-
exact same song up.
Yep.
I
if
think
you
that's
down-
kind of the fingerprints of this phenomenon, and it has
Oh,
something to
that's
do
interesting.
the
It has
most
something to do with consciousness science. You know, like we're participating in you know,
I-
what
I
we're
just-
projecting and what we're experiencing.
Go ahead.
I was gonna
go ahead.
say that. Oh,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Nate.
No, I was gonna say. Sorry, I was gonna say. I'm gonna try to word this the best way I can. Like how I'm understanding this right now is like maybe it sounds more like if you were to like try to rationalize it in a sense, it's more of like a mathematical type thing in terms of like the coincidences of certain things, how certain things just kind of happen in a sense, and certain patterns, and especially when it comes to psychic stuff, you kind of like when someone, like for example, an obvious one, obviously, like you're dating someone and they're giving you signs of like your last relationship that you think things are not going to end well, you recognize that pattern. But then you have more vague shit just going on throughout your life, and subconsciously you're just able to kind of pick up on that because of your life experiences and stuff like that. And that's why you're able to tell, even with people you hardly know or don't know or just met, you might be able to pick up on what's going on with them, what they might have said or done or whatever, because of that as well.
Yeah,
like
going
that
back
can go
to that,
into
like
too.
that very naturally intuitive shit. That sometimes it is just pattern recognition and trauma or some shit like that, right? Like it
the most basic when he was talking about, would you say synchronicity?
Yeah, synchronicity.
Okay, so as soon as you said that and you described it, the most relevant that I could think of is when it comes to like vehicles. All right, like when I used to own a Toyota Celica. Okay, before I owned it, I never saw one on the streets, but once I bought one, I saw them everywhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Every time, like when I bought my wife about the van that she drives in, I see them everywhere.
It's like the universe notices you noticing.
What happens to me is I'll learn a new word. I'll learn a new word that I've never heard before in my life. Like I'm fucking 26 and I'm learning this word. I'm hearing it for the first time. I'm learning the definition for the first time. And then as soon as I learn that word over the next few days, people are suddenly using it in sentences all the fucking time. I'm like, what the fuck was this?
You'll hear it in a TV show. Yeah. You'll hear it in a TV show or something. You'll be like, what the fuck?
I have to like Google the definition. Yeah.
I know for me, sometimes when I hear like what you're talking about, like hearing a certain word, like sometimes it's either people I've known have been using that, but that word didn't mean anything to me, so I just like became static in a sentence. Or B,
cognitive biases.
Or B, it's like a trend all of a sudden to use that word because of whatever pop culture reference you want to use here.
Definitely happens.
Like a term recently for me was cohort. I never understood what that meant. Until recently. Recently. Like when I came into a job and we got hired in a group. It was called a cohort. Like, what the fuck is a cohort? And I looked it up and I've heard it in shit. TV shows that I watch. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? It was you know what I'm saying? I've never even thought what the fucking term means. I'm like, I know what that means.
There's something to the observer effect, you know. That ties in with the double slit experiment.
The results change because you observe it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's kind of how. Go ahead, Kelsey. Sorry.
No. I was just saying, I with all this, I have lost.
Is he cutting in and out for you?
Yeah.
How many times, like we were going back to saying, you're thinking about a certain song. I've had at least I'm cutting out.
Yeah, you're cutting it.
Yeah. You're a little bit
cutting out.
behind.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
You
Sorry.
sound drunk right
I've
now.
lost
That's
count how
what
many times I've been thinking about a song and then I turn the radio on. And I've even.
Well, that's a
I'm
good example of like the psychic phenomenon, because people like this. That's a regularly common occurrence where people report thinking about somebody and then they get a phone call from them. You know.
Mm.
Oh, that's wicked. That shit's crazy, bro. That shit's crazy. You know how many times I think about somebody and I call them, and then they're like, "Bro, I was just about to fucking call you" or some shit. Like that shit's crazy. Like
Kelsey, I think your camera might have caught back up. You should try saying what you're going to say again.
Yeah, knowing my luck, it'll fuck up again. But just basically, I've lost count how many times this fucked up again, messed up again.
No,
you're good. No, you're good.
No, you're good. Yeah, it's a lot better. Yeah.
That's it. Okay, no, so I've lost count how many times I've heard music or I've been thinking about a song, and then on the radio or random, the song shows up out of nowhere, and it could be a song I haven't heard in 5 or 10 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And
I hate the reason by Hoopastank, and then all of a sudden you bring it up at work like years later.
It just came off the top of my head. I knew you would love it.
Hey,
I was just trying to think of awful songs.
I know we're on a tangent here, and I know we're way off subject where we started. But who randomly just fucking? I could be the only one. Every morning I wake up with a different song in my head, and I wake up singing it.
I got like 3 stuck in my head right now. One of them's a TikTok song of all fucking things.
Mine are just random songs. There'll be a song I ain't heard in forever, and I'll just wake up singing it, and then I feel like radio. Like
it's because you're a psychic.
What do you mean you feel like radio? Like
I feel like radio.
I feel like
Jr. I just feel like I just got a walking down jukebox in my head, man. Because I wake up singing a random song every day, and I didn't hear it the day before or nothing like that. I'll just fucking start waking up singing songs.
There's
it's kind of weird because like go ahead.
No, go ahead, Nick.
I was just gonna say just real quick is I've been doing that, and sometimes it's like because I got YouTube Music recently, and sorry, this is going a little off tangent, but like I've been listening to new music in like the gym, and then there's a song I like a lot, and I keep playing it. Like if I don't play the song at least, it'll stay stuck in my head until I play it again.
Yep,
that's interesting.
Like it becomes a year.
I have to if I have a song stuck in my head, I have to listen to that song on repeat until my brain doesn't like it anymore.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will say the weirdest kind of synchronistic psychic kind of shit that I deal with, like working on art, and this is like more personal, but I straight up over the years I have done stuff where I will either plan out a scenario or a scene or a landscape or certain characters. Like this has happened numerous times where I have created individual characters, and straight up someone will appear either at work or in my life that is the same description of that character. Sometime even getting down to like nicknames and stuff. That is something that I had already written out. But and sometimes I think that's like, you know, is the creative population tapping into kind of like the collective unconscious, and it's just certain trends that are rising up at the same time that people are kind of tapping into. The weirdest one, though, going back to that Pantheon show, is that I'm working on this short story, and it's like a group of friends, and straight up, there was a group of high school friends on the Pantheon show. It was the same makeup, same amount of dudes, same amount of girls, same ethnicities and everything, and even the shenanigans they were getting up to were exactly the same. And I've been working on this short story for a couple of months. But that show and that episode had been released for a while. It's annoying. It can be annoying.
I mean, you know, a lot of us come to the same conclusions. We have a lot of the same foundation, but of inspiration that we're pulling from. But yeah,
sometimes it's so specific though. It's spooky.
Yeah, we had me and Kelsey came up with the idea of a fucking a delivery beer service. And then next thing you know, fucking We was talking about near beer. Like,
Well, that's just because we were lazy alcoholics, though. That's
it was lazy alcoholics. And
And there's a lot of us.
it was like, what if you know we didn't want to get fucking DUIs for drinking and driving? Well, if you can order beer to your front door and then fucking within a year, it's just like, hey, now we got delivering a beer service. Yeah, and I was just like, damn it, we fucking had a fucking $1 million idea.
You gotta go after Uber and them for that too. They do the same thing. You guys are owed a lot of money for that.
Yeah,
Lawsuit.
yeah, no, not a lawsuit, but it was just I think it's just one of them universal things, man. It's like you think it, and it fucking. That's what they say in life. You think it. If you think it, you write it down. You think it. You continually think it out loud, or you say it out loud. It'll come into an effect, and that's happened. It's happened into my life. Like over the last couple of years, I was like, these are things that I want in my life, and I kept saying them out loud and saying them out loud, and here I am with my life and my career. And I'm just like, oh shit, I've been talking this shit up for the last 2-3 years, and here I am. Well, what fuck else can I do? I keep talking up what I want. Maybe it'll fucking happen.
Yeah. I think a lot of it too is also like again with the whole like putting what you put in there too, like
most definitely. I put a lot in to get where I'm at because I didn't put everything into one basket, but it was just shocking. It's like, damn, you fucking put your mind.
That's the secret.
We should start talking about putting turkey for Pope. So
yes, I concur.
I was gonna say, if I have your permission, I'll make an AI picture of that right now for you.
What would your Pope name be?
Emphysema.
Yeah, emphysema.
Emphysema the first.
No, it'd be Turcavelli. Turcavelli.
Turcavelli's good.
Like Machiavelli. Turcavelli.
Yeah.
No, we got
to leave a better legacy.
Yeah.
That, like I said, that'd be a beautiful thing, man. We've been going on for a good little while now. I guess it's about that time we'll start wrapping it up for the night. We'll finish it with final words or like on a scale from 1 to 10. How do you feel about psychics? We can do it like that. How about that?
I like it.
All right, final words. Says Nick, you are the guest. And we appreciate you coming on. And also for your final words. Yeah, of course, man. I love having you come on anytime. We'd love
nice
having
to meet you, brother.
Yes,
nice to meet
Great.
you.
Nice to meet you guys too. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I've been meaning to come on. I'm gonna be honest. I'm like so shy. I'm still getting used to like just the online stuff when even with my own personal stuff. I don't know if it's okay for me to self promote or not, but
no, I want you to put plug.
But no. So well, first off on psychics, I'd say it's like in the middle, like 5. You know, like I said, I don't really have an opinion. Yeah, so I'll stand by what I said. But yeah, no. Also, if you guys, anyone wants to check me out, I'm on Twitch. My name is Phantom Void here, but it's Phantom Alien 616 on Twitch. And then I also have 2 YouTube channels. One is Phantom Alien, and the other one is Phantom Void. The Phantom Alien one is probably gonna be gameplay clips. The other one is more like internet, just me rambling about what's going on the internet.
So we'd be safe to say that Nick gives it. I don't know how to make it in front of it, but that's the Fox Mulder. That's the rating between 5, 1 and 5. We got a different picture for all of them. 1 through 5. Yeah. I'm trying to get back to that. Me and Carlos have been talking about it, and I've been trying to make it a point to where we can have shows where we rate how we feel about stuff. But I'm also
you need some
the overlay. That's where I should have went it.
Oh yeah, overlay.
Yeah, sometime. Overlay. That's what I should have done. Here we go. Pretend like that didn't happen. That's what Nick gives it. Fox Mulder.
I want to believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that.
That's my favorite line. All right, then we're gonna move on to Tusk. Where are you at, man, on the scale?
I'll give it 11, bro.
Yeah. Oh, Alex Jones.
Go past 10. Oh, well, no, it's just like fucking the more shit I keep coming across talking about like the electric universe theory, and I know there's some detractors to that, but like stuff going on with plasma, like a lot of just existence. Wait. Find one
plasma that we give up.
With a tinfoil hat.
I don't have that one.
He brings it back up. He's like, wait.
They put shit in the water and makes makes the fucking frogs gay, Joe.
Gay.
That's just how this is on. This is where he's at on the
Crazy.
scale. This is where he's at on the scale, guys. That's okay. That's okay.
Can you understand that? No, I once we get closer to whatever the singularity is, I think a lot of this stuff is going to be answered, and I think it's got a lot to do with the fact that the universe is a lot of electricity, and human beings are essentially antenna in their own right, and it's electrical charges.
Totally, man.
Yeah, I'm done.
Right on. Just so you know, I have these pictures preset from before you started to test me. Turkey will tell you that I have a scale. I have a scale from a critic to all balls in.
Okay.
Did you
This
know
isn't
who
me
was
making
gonna
fun
be
of
who,
you.
or-
He probably
Yeah,
had a good
I-
idea. He
well,
probably
he
had a good
didn't, but
idea
I
I was
did.
going to be Jones.
Yeah.
Well, no, 10 and 11 is Jones. You're not Jones, and I'm not saying you're Alex Jones, but I mean, if you want to have, that's where you want to go with it.
Hey, I was
that
listening to Jones before it was cool.
You should do that every time Tusk says something though. Like you just bring that up where you guys talk about like hitting.
I'll do it. I'll do the voice. Universe is electric.
All right, let's try it real quick. Ready? Go ahead, Tusk.
Turn the frickin' frogs gay.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little retarded.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little retarded,
Like,
but I'm
kind
fucking
of
sick of this
retarded.
crap. They're coming after me. The psych attacks on my dogs. They're sending psych attacks on my fucking dogs.
I used to be a part of a competitive face planting team.
Hell, he
at
knew
my
about
high
9/11 before it happened too.
school. Yeah, so I choose if psychics are real. I choose anywhere from 9 to 11. How about that?
Yeah, and I just happened to be that my Alex Jones was my rating. Okay, I'm not calling you Alex Jones.
I know,
Tusk.
dude. I know.
That's the rating.
I'm not a dick. All right, Carlos, is your go. Where are you on the scale, sir?
This is to 10.
Yeah, 1 to 10, and also your own final words too, of course.
Like a fucking 1, man. Listen, I can read and philosophize and come up with a bunch of fascinating thought experiments to try to rationalize all this. Thank you. But
Who the hell is that?
big but.
Is that the atheist guy?
I need to see this shit. I need to see this shit in real life for me to actually. I'm a tangible. I got to see it to believe it. I have never met anybody. I've met people who've made claims too. I've met people who've made claims to
I know you have.
tap into. Yeah, you've met some of these same people, but I just don't.
That's how I feel about it. Like I think what the term was agnostic, I believe, right? That's how I feel about it, kind of. Like it could, if it happens to be real, oh well. I mean, like I was wrong, but like at the same time, I don't know. I can't definitively say yes or no. I have to see it.
Honestly, that is the argument for why I gave it a 1 and not a 0. There are other things we've talked about that I've no issue giving a 0. This one I'm willing to give a light 1.
I forgot I did actually have a psychic experience where I was at a party and I was super hammered already, and this car pulled up. Yes, good. Set me up. This car pulled up, and everybody's like, "Who the fuck is that? We don't know them." And I was lit, and I said, "It's Esteban." And because I was just quoting The Life Aquatic, because Bill Murray's friend's name's Esteban. He was eaten by a
I
shark.
love that shit.
So I was just yelling Esteban, and these people got out of the car, and I was yelling Esteban, and one of the people went, "Hey, this dude's name was Esteban." So that's all I got. Sorry about that.
It's not a very common name.
Yeah, it's not very common.
That's what I mean. The specificity is
I can see Alex Jones telling that story.
Good.
That and I'm gonna. So I mean, and this is just coincidence, but I'm actually gonna change the stage up to where Nick said he felt like it because he's a little bit more on the fence. So it's more of a Joe Rogan. That's what we're gonna give you.
Oh God.
Yeah, he wants to lean more towards the believe than the.
Yeah, but you seem kind of pretty in the fence because I want to say Fox is more like I want to give me something. I'm almost there, you know.
Yeah.
All right, Turk. What about you? What say you, and what are your final words?
I stand firm on what I said. That I think there's a lot of hoaxes out here, and I think, and I believe because I met some some heads out here, bro. Like there's some there's some shit that fucks with your head, but you can learn some shit from them damn crackheads and meth heads. Now there's a lot of gibberish going in out there, but if you pay attention,
they're speaking in tongues.
They're speaking in tongues, but if you can pay attention, there's some life experiences in them. They'll tell you some shit. You'll be like, man, this motherfucker crazy. He's a whack job, but at the same time, they just too far gone. They did, you know what I'm saying? They did a little too much, man. They didn't damn hallucinated too much. But
I'll be honest with you, Turk. I'll be
I'm drawn in. I'm drawn in.
I'm just saying. Listen.
I'm
there's
clapping in spirit.
There's some shit going on out there, and like if they're televised, they ain't real. They're weaponized. I'll go a 9 on it. Just give me some leeway. I'll be like, well, I wasn't firmly on it.
Oh man,
you ain't telling
9 to 11. Would you go 9 to 11 also?
I'll go 9 to 11. Fuck it. I'm serious. I'm serious, man. There's a reason. Like, the shit's in the films, man. It's in the movies. It's in the TV shows. They tell you the fucking truth.
Sir, I just want to say real quick. I am almost on. Okay, so I have a better idea now, but for a minute when you were going there, I was like, I am more confused about how he feels than before you answered the question. But you rounded it out nicely, so I'll give you that.
Okay, yeah. I'll go off on a tangent. If y'all let me get there, I'll get back. I'm like,
okay. Why are you taking advice from crackheads?
No, listen.
Why are you not?
Why are you not? You're the one that's not brave enough to take that brain trip.
What life advice have they given you?
You got to corner them when they're by themselves and talking to
there's
themselves.
You got to corner them? You have to corner them?
They'll corner you. They'll corner you with some advice. They'll corner you.
I don't know. I've been cornered by some crackheads, and the most it's just like you got change. Like that's I don't know.
No, that's not a crackhead.
No, that's not who he's talking about. It's the talk he's talking about the people where you laugh at every single fucking thing they say.
Actually,
you have no idea where that conversation's gonna go.
But if you replay it later on, you're like, God dang.
You're recording them and you replay them?
No, you don't ever replay conversations that you have in your head later on, hours, maybe days later.
Yeah, but I've never had one with a crackhead where I was like, oh, I get what he was talking about now. The fucking glass is all fake. Like, I have no idea what he's talking about.
The glass
I'm sorry. I relive most of my conversations every day, every night.
But I mean, but when it's a bunch of nonsense, it's kind of hard to recall that with clarification.
Well, no. I do.
I like to analyze shit.
I love analyzing nonsense, but sometimes the conclusion I come to is like, yeah, no, that was some.
No, I give you that. No, I agree with that. It should be like this is some gibberish.
But there is some times where I'm like high as fuck, just laying there, and I'll go over a conversation. I'm reading in between the lines. I'll sometimes just doom scroll on Twitter. Like I'll go down to like a fucking like a rabbit hole of like a conversation I have with someone, and it has nothing to do with anything. I'll do the same thing.
Yeah, I replay. I used to use that, but I think that might have made my brain the little way it is where I analyze the shit. I analyze way too much how I react with people on a day-to-day basis. We're like, man, I could have said that differently. Or like, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe I came off and it may not seem that way on here on the podcast. You're like, man, you saying some outlandish shit. Yeah. But when I get off of here, I'll think about it. Where I'm like, damn, I should not have said that out loud. That's why I don't go back and rewatch this earlier.
I did the same.
I was about to say you replay the conversations, but not before you replay them at work for everyone to hear.
Yeah, exactly. I stopped listening to our podcast. I'm just like, I just got to leave it where it's at because, like, I'll get to myself and like, I can't do this no more because I'm saying stupid shit. But I just try to freelance on here and say what's on my mind and
spitball.
Freestyle.
I like freelance.
I feel like it's more authentic.
It's a recap though. It's a recap. So the Earth might be flat. You stare at the sun. You take advice from crackheads.
Staring at the sun. There's a movement behind that shit. People have been like staring at the sun, and they're like the Breatharians where they don't eat, they just breathe.
I want to tell you about this. You want to joke about that staring at the sun shit? You want?
I do.
I recently had an eye exam for my job, and guess what they said? I had great vision. Great vision. I'm not colorblind. I can read the lowest line on the thing with both eyes, the letters verbatim. I'm not colorblind.
So you're lucky. You're lucky.
I'm not lucky. No, I trained my fucking eyes to look at the sun.
You cannot train, Nick. Nick, help me. Carlos, help me. You can't train your eyes.
You can attach tiny weights to your eyelids.
Okay, you can only train like when I think what Kelsey's getting at is that when you're exercising and you're doing strength training, you're tearing your muscles and they're re-healing back stronger, right? Yep. Or when you get a cut on your skin, the skin grows back stronger, the scar tissue stronger, right?
Yep.
What about tissues in the human body that do not grow back, like teeth or eyes? Those don't ever heal or get better. Those damage on those is permanent. Damage on the eardrums is also permanent.
Hey, I've been doing this for years. Been doing it for years. I don't stare directly at it. The only adverse effect that I've had is driving at night. It's gotten worse over the years.
Well, it sounds like
I got a glare, but I think it's based off of the new headlights that these cars come out with, because like, these motherfuckers, no, these motherfuckers are different than the old headlights. They are bright, dude. They are bright as fuck. And I got
so is the sun.
But
coordinated gang stalking, they use different lights.
Hell, I go out
about on the internet.
Yeah. I go outside when the sun's shining, and then I'll close my eyes and stare right at the sun and let the sun bake on my eyelids. And look at if do it one day. Close your eyes and look, and you can see all the different shapes. It's so magnificent.
I wear glasses. I don't know if I should do that. I don't know. I might need to check with my doctor before I do something like that.
That might be the problem. You're checking with your doctor. What do they know? What do they know? This is my thing. This is my thing about eye doctors. All right.
I need to hear it. Go.
They promote this LASIK shit, right? How many times do you see somebody that's a LASIK doctor that's promoting LASIK surgery? They still wear glasses.
You're not. It doesn't correlate. It doesn't correlate to staring at the sun. It does not correlate to looking at the sun.
Okay,
that's not the same thing.
I know we're trying to end the podcast, but I have to ask this question. Turk, you ever get a sunburn? You get sunburn, right?
Hardly ever.
Why do people get sunburned?
Why do people get sunburned?
Yeah, what about the sun burns people?
No, it's malnutrition. If you got proper nutrition in your body, it's malnutrition.
The sun gets burnt when I look at it.
The sun doesn't cause skin cancer. It's your malnutrition that causes skin cancer.
That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that the sun is radioactive. It's so radioactive that it can burn your skin from all the way over there. So what makes you think that your eyelids are shielding your eyes from that radiation, even if they're closed?
I never said it wasn't, but sunlight is good for your eyeballs. And that's the problem. Like, everybody thinks that you should wear sunglasses all the time when you're in the sun. Mm-hmm. Why don't you wear them at night?
If you rub
what you're doing right now?
Yeah. I wear my sunglasses at night, son.
I respect Turkey's approach because it sounds like the Chuck Norris approach.
I was gonna say Chuck Norris stares at the sun goes blind.
Yeah. It's like when Chuck Norris jumps in a pool, he doesn't get wet. The water gets Chuck Norris.
Yeah. No, but I used to think I had to wear sunglasses all the time until I stopped wearing them all the time during the day, and I realized I don't need them. But
because of that, you decided to start exclusively wearing them at night. I can understand. You don't really need sunglasses. Our ancestors didn't have sunglasses, right? Sunglasses is a modern luxury.
I wear them.
Why do you wear them at night?
Yeah, because the glare from the
because it's fucking cool.
The glare from the headlights.
No, from the glare of the unnatural light blinds me.
That's what I was about to get to. I was like, do you wear them because of the glare you just described?
The unnatural light hurts my eyeballs.
I get it, Turkey.
Yeah, I'd rather wear sunglasses.
No,
when
so hold on.
sky.
I don't get it. That's what part of was like. What do you mean, Tusk?
You don't have
get
to.
It?
It's
what
okay. It's okay.
It's dangerous.
No, it's
you
not
know what?
dangerous.
No. Kelsey. He's right. Tusk is right. He's right. Yeah.
If it's an overcast sky, I want to wear glasses more than I do when the sun's shining.
Why?
Okay, that I don't get.
I don't know why. My eyes do that.
All right, this is where we part ways, Turkey.
Yeah. I feel like the sun shines brighter with an overcast sky than it does with the sun. There's no clouds.
This is like the same. This is like the same. This is like the same logic of like rinsing your mouth with soda because it's going to make your teeth grow back strong.
Yeah, did you not see that Drake and Josh episode where he does that? They clearly, that's what you're supposed to do.
Oh, right.
Coca-Cola can clean your metal, like the rust off your spoons or whatever. It can also clean the plaque off your teeth.
I've seen Russians clean an engine with Coca-Cola.
Yeah, okay. I've seen them cook a whole fucking bird with the sun, is my point.
You could clean corrosion off a battery with Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Can you clean a bird with Coca-Cola? Wait, Kelsey, no. You remember the glasses, the little handlebar that he creates for the glasses, and all the people sued him because they went cross-eyed?
And the Jerk, the movie, yeah.
That's what this whole conversation is kind of reminding me of. But you need to take that picture of the director who's cross-eyed and use that for one of the 1 to 10.
That's a good one, yeah.
On the rating
But
scale.
disclaimer: I don't recommend people staring at the sky, at the sunlight in particular. But I don't.
The sun is fine, but not the sky.
I don't know what I'm saying. I don't take that back. I don't stare directly at the sun. I just stare enough that I can see the outline of the sun, and then if it gets too bright, I'll look away.
To see the outline is to see the sun, sir.
No, it's not. You can look indirectly at it.
Are you talking about peripheral vision, where you like see like kind of the sun at the corner of your eye or something?
Yeah, it's like you can see the spherical shape of the sun, and like especially like you ever notice it when it comes over the horizon?
You literally told me you closed your eyes and looked directly at the sun.
Oh yeah, I do that. I do that.
All you see is red, though.
No. You don't only see red. No, you don't. You don't. You see like a collage of shapes and figures.
It looks like
no. That's the radiation cooking your cornea. I promise.
Bro, it's not. It is healthy for you. I'm trying to tell you.
What are the patterns where you zoom out? It's the same shit. You zoom in. It's the same.
A kaleidoscope?
Yes.
Not a kaleidoscope. No, it keeps going for fractals. It's like you see fractals.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can,
like Paisley.
If you close your eyes and look up at the sunlight, you can see so many. It's beautiful.
So there were some steps missing in what you said. So the people who watched you say what you said at the beginning are like, "Oh, he just stared directly at the sun."
No, sometimes I do that just to see how far I can go.
There's different levels.
But there's different. But I'm talking about at high noon. At high noon, when the sun's at high noon. If you go out, take your sunglasses off, and close your eyes and look up where the sunlight's at, it is beautiful.
Yeah,
that is dangerous.
It's not dangerous. It's good for you.
No.
Yes, it is.
No.
That vitamin D is good for you.
I feel like I'm gonna regret even bringing this up, but Turkey.
Was it vitamin C?
Turkey, have you heard
it's not
about
vitamin C.
Have you heard about the people that
abs hurt.
suntan their assholes?
Yes, I thought about.
I was thinking of that.
I thought about doing that.
You need the sunlight on your perineum.
That's the
We're
next
not plants. You can't just do that.
You got to try it. Try it out.
I grounding. Y'all don't believe in grounding?
I believe in
What's grounding? What's that?
When you walk around with barefoot. On the ground.
That one I heard that like some people think that's therapeutic. That's fine. But looking directly at the sun or just going butt ass naked with your asshole to the sun to burn the crust off of it, like what the? I don't understand that. How do you?
Where do you even go to do that?
It's the vitamin.
Apparently, it goes to your mom's house.
No.
It's got a big backyard.
I've never did the sun on my butthole, but I'd be down to it if I could find somewhere where I wouldn't get judged.
I just got a question. You're out there and you're getting your butthole cooked or whatever.
I've never done it.
But I'll just say, let's say that you do though. Like you're at my mom's house in the backyard, and the kids open the door. What are you saying?
No, there's no judgment. I said there's no judgment. I'm not going to do it.
You can't tell a 5-year-old there's no judgment.
No. This would be a no judgment zone. I want to be a PDF file.
Scream to my mom.
No
judgment zone.
No. This would be a zone that it wouldn't be. I become a PDF file. It would be a zone that everybody was like, "Hey, we're sunbathing our buttholes today." That would
after MIT to do it.
But the problem is that your butthole is on the backside of you. So how are you going to shine the sun on your butthole and look at the sun at the same time?
I'd have to do like a praying dog or something.
Do you mean like put your head between your legs?
Hot yoga, get a goat in there too.
Yeah, like.
No, it's face down, ass up. That's the way. Yeah, that's pretty much
downward dog, downward.
Face down, ass up. That's the way the sun likes to fuck. Some shit like that.
Anyway, psychics. Thanks for coming.
Psychics. Yeah. Thanks for coming. We're talking about psychics, not physics, and sunbathing your eyeballs and assholes.
Wait, we never got Kelsey's number. We never got Kelsey's
number.
We got caught on the
whole
fucking.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah. I'll go ahead and give you mine. I'm at like a 6 or 7. I think it's something out there, man. There's something out there, and there's more than we realize. And I really like the sentiments about that Tuss said, and about if they're weaponized, but they're not your everyday people. But then you also have people that like me and Carlos have met who come up to you, and they have nothing to gain to try to tell you their future or the things they see. At least nothing that I could see. Fair. So, and I don't think, they're not necessarily habitual liars. So they believe they're seeing something, but that information and then the level of which it can be interpreted I don't know. I want to believe. I want to see something, but I haven't. And that'd be my main thing.
I thought you were gonna say more than me. See, I thought you was going
Transformers.
There. Yeah, I thought you was going there. But
my final words to quote Kenny Powers, and Nick's heard me do this a couple of times. But Kenny Powers is I like to butt fuck fine young ladies. Will I choke a bitch? Well, maybe.
Yeah, he said that to me.
We're
freestyling. Nick never wants to freestyle with me. He never does.
I'm just glad you didn't bring up Tom Cruise or like Scientology. Or
I wasn't. I told you I wouldn't.
Wait, Nick, wait. Now wait.
No,
Before my phone dies. Nick, if you're doing the deep dive into Scientology, look up the Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard connection, because that's the crazy shit right there.
Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put that right now.
L. Ron Hubbard lifted essentially all the Scientology stuff from what Aleister Crowley was getting into. So, Dilemma.
Okay, I'll definitely check that out. Then I have it pulled up right now. So,
yeah,
I'm sorry. Phone's about to die.
At this podcast, man, we don't care. You can be black, white, Hebrew, Christian, Catholic,
blind.
Turkey you inevitably will be before long.
Yep.
It's all good here, man. We love everybody, man.
Hey, I got, as of right now, where I sit at 34 years old, I have excellent vision. So
you got 9 to 11 vision.
See me in 20 years. I'm just telling you. And I'll give
Hopefully
you.
Can see
I'll see you.
See us in 20 years.
See me in 20. Hey, that shit, I might gain another sense like Daredevil. Shit, I might be able to hear shit.
See, I was thinking about doing it again. If I would make an AI picture of you, it was like Cyclops from the X-Men. That's what happens when you stare at the sun. You just fucking shoot lasers out of your eyes.
It's funny that you mentioned gaining another sense like Daredevil, because he did that because he lost his sight.
Exactly. If I lose my sight, I can hear and taste and fuck and everything better.
Wait. What if he absorbs the radiation and shoots it out his ass?
Oh my god!
Wait, no, he's the enemy of buttfucker. He's the enemy of butt. That's what that is. That's what that is.
They call
Yeah.
me rat. They call me rat ass.
They call it
No,
laser
that's
rectum or
great.
something.
All right, I think that's all we can handle for one night.
Yeah, no, I'm about to
Rat
hop off,
rectum.
but thank you
All
guys
right.
for having me. I appreciate it.
Have a good
Hell
night,
yeah.
everybody.
Hey,
Yeah.
we got to get you on here again, Nick. We got to get you on here again soon, man. We can do that whole Chris Chan thing. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but-
I'll be down. Like if you guys want, like I'll prepare that and try to get like certain videos, and I'll send you guys what you guys think we should watch and stuff like that. So
Fuck yeah,
That's
man.
gonna be a
Fuck
rabbit.
yeah.
That's gonna be quite the rabbit hole.
Hey,
Yeah.
it should be just called a turtle hole because we're fucking all the way. We go all over the place. It's a turtle hole these days.
yeah.
All right, man. Hey, guys, this is for everybody listening. This is Turtles All the Way Down. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on TikTok. Like I said, if I ever fucking figure that shit out, and we're gonna be setting up like an Instagram thing soon. And please like, subscribe, and help us get on the way up. We want to quit our day jobs, so
Yeah,
help us out
I was
with
gonna
that.
say, can I say one more thing quick?
Yeah, Nick.
I was just gonna add real quick again, also because it was supposed to be like whatever final words, but like you guys can find me on Twitch at Phantom Alien 616 or YouTube at Phantom Alien and also Phantom Void as well.
Hell yeah, right on, man. Y'all have a good night, guys.
Yep.
You
have a good
too.
night.
Thank you guys. Have a good
Find
night.
me at your mom's